crowd. I drink too much and I laugh too loud. That's just me. That's how I'll always be. I roll my own every now and then. I love a good buzz with a few close friends. That's just me. That's how I'll always be. You won't hear me beg.
All right, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, I guess, part 2 of our Woodshop Chronicles Christmas special.
God help us.
You know, we part 1 was a blast. We'll reflect on that show for just a minute here momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody that's still here or has now joined us. Of course, we got Jake and Ethan back with us once again. And for the last show, you know, I feel kind of bad because I invited y'all boys up here. I want to get y'all back on the show and stuff, and I get y'all up here, and I wanted y'all to be the focal point, and it just kind of turned into something completely off the rails. But
I love it.
I love the
at the
stories
same
we heard.
time, what a freaking, you know, what a group of people sitting
Yeah.
at the table telling stories.
No,
Absolutely.
don't ever feel bad about that.
And the whole purpose of this is I thought, man, we've had some great people come on this show in the past year, and sitting around here today, this kind of turned out into a VIP thing where good friends of the show came. Not all of them going to get a chance to get on the mic. Smokey the Appalachian Stanley sitting back there made the trip from Floyd. He's been on a bunch of our shows. That's a good conversation itself. Go look up some of those. We have a lot of fun with it. And, you know, we invited Tyler out here tonight. Beth Preston's come up taking photos for us. That was great. So much good in Franklin County. And I was glad to, and so the more people I started inviting, I was like, well, shit, let's just get up here and let's throw some ideas around. And now between the first show and this, and now I'm sitting around and watching everybody talk and conversate. I'm like, there's a lot of good happening in this Woodshop tonight. Like, I would be hard pressed to think at any point in time in Franklin County history is as many talented people either already well established like Henry and Billy, or guys like you all and Colby, somebody established like Kris. Such a crazy mix all coming together like in one place. I don't know if Franklin County's ever seen as much talent in one room. And this redneck double wide wood shop, Amos has so graciously opened for us once again. So thank y'all so much. For the first one was great. This show we're being joined by some of your guys. So I'll let you introduce them around the table right here for this section right here.
So we got Chris TK Wimmer.
What's up, y'all?
He's our drummer. We got Alex Alacantar on the bass.
Hello.
Dragon, a.k.a. Dragon.
Dragon.
That's actually, I've never called him Alex, not once. Eric couldn't be with us tonight. I think he's having an extramarital affair or something.
Let's get into that. Let's get into that. If you're not going to be here to hang out,
Then clearly you're having an affair.
but I know look, a lot of people are starting to find our show now, and we always bring new people on every week. And the more you like it, the more you share it, we appreciate it. So if you haven't listened to our first show, go back and listen. We had Jake and Ethan on a couple years ago. It was a phenomenal time, and all anybody has told us since was you got to get TK on there. He's going to tell all the stories, man. Caleb has said it, Amos has said it, y'all mentioned it. So glad to have you here. For this second half, we're also being joined by Kris Hodges, friend of the show. He was on
Another drummer.
Yeah,
Another drummer. We got to be careful. Bass man and drummers on the same table. Careful. It's all right. It's an in-joke.
That's the Paul McCartney coming out of you.
No, it's an in-joke. It's an in-joke. We know. We know. If you know, you know.
But we've had Kris on a few months ago, not long after the whole FloydFest thing come out, and he was a founder, and dude is a massive genius. So I hit him up. I was like, hey man, we got some great minds, great musicians coming up here tonight. Reached out to Tyler too. He couldn't make it, unfortunately, but I was like, come up here tonight and hang out and let's talk, have fun. Let's do a show. And I've seen y'all talk in the meantime. I was like, man, we've had such a blast. So Kris is joining us here as well. He's going to be jumping on. We also got who you heard earlier introducing us in is the champion himself, Ric Reeves, Rocky Mount, Virginia. I'm going to butcher this completely, but I'm going to say 6'4", 235 pounds.
That sounds about perfect, baby. Let me tell you. Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal. Hey, and let me tell you.
I love it.
I just met Dragon about probably 2 years ago, but far as it goes, TK, me and him known each other since my senior year. Ethan, I rode the bus with him, and me and Jake got too many stories to tell, but We will tell a few of them tonight, I'm sure, and I'm ready to listen into what they got to say and hear about these crazy ass stories, because I know it's different businesses, but kind of similar lines of what it takes to make it and what you got to do to promote yourself and deal with like the industry, basically fans, promoters, all that. And I'm ready to listen in and hear the crazy side of music. So, yeah, pumped up. Let's go. Well, and yes, I am sorry. Last time I'm too much on promos, but classic professional wrestling champion, heavyweight champ, classic
he's wearing
pro
a belt
wrestling
here tonight.
I told you guys I would win a belt last time I was here, and I did what I said I would do. I went out, I beat somebody who was the heavyweight champ. I took over a company. I'm now the face of classic pro wrestling, and we're out to make a name. That's out in Fredericksburg, up in Nova, close to Richmond. So, not quite as spread out, but we're getting there one day at a time, baby. So, yeah, just want to let you know I'm kept to my promise.
Well, I appreciate that. Last time we had him on was with your boy Terrell Basham. I don't know if he's played much this off year, but that was a fun time. We all got pretty inebriated that show. I recommend you going back and listening to it and
pretty inebriated.
I talked to him today.
Envisioning yourself in the train wreck in slow motion through your mind as the night got worse and worse. But I got to wear a $50,000 watch on my wrist that I was scared.
Incredible time. I appreciate y'all having us on there. And I talked to him today, and he's still staying in shape. Yes, he did get waived off the beginning of the season. He pulled his hamstring. It's unfortunate. But his agent's in close talks with playoff teams, so let's hope that he gets signed going into playoff season. Hey, let's get a ring. You don't need to play the whole season. You need to play the playoffs and get a ring, right?
I mean,
we're here to win.
We sent an invite out to Nick Robertson tonight, too. I think he just got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals this week, too. So it's another Callaway kid. He wanted to come out here. He says he sends his best.
I don't mean to interrupt this,
make it happen,
but I want you to know that Ric Reeves, Crawford and Power, minus Ethan, sorry, and Terrell Basham are all 2012. Ethan's 2011. He's right there with us. But
13.
That class,
13.
Oh, I was way off, actually. He was young. He rode my bus. He was just a young kid. I took him. We would listen to some iPods together. No, I'm just kidding. Him and my sister, y'all the same age? Y'all the same age?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't know my sister's age for a second. But
just about looking around the room and reading it right now, I'm going to say is your fiance over here to my left.
I love her. She's the best. She's my DD tonight. I might have a little buzz, but I blame the boys of the Appalachian Podcast, especially Simon.
So
damn it,
Ric Reeves, everybody, and then we got this guy here to my right, and we're going to go on and get back into the conversations.
What?
I'm going to introduce the guy to my right. I don't want to, but
come on, man.
It's fellow musician Joshua Grace.
The legend.
You'll know him from such appearances as washing your windows on the corner of Hirschberger and Williamson. Probably made your children cry at a brewery here or there over the years, and but has a dynamite band around him that carries him, and a loyal family that goes out to every single show and drags other people out to every single show, and somehow manages to fill rooms everywhere he goes. And actually, while we've got fellow musician Joshua Grace on here, big thanks, for over the years letting me use your music. I can't afford anybody else's, and
you never asked.
I did. I most certainly asked, because otherwise I would have got something better like Ethan and them and Jake's, which they've given me permission tonight, so I doubt anybody's going to listen to you. But while I got you right here and I got Kris right here too, I want to ask this because, Kris, you're such an established guy, with your, you built FloydFest from the ground up, but at some point in time, you must have fallen on some dark years and you reached out to the Harwell Grace Band and they actually played your festival. Like, tell us about what was going on in those years.
Well, if it wasn't for that band, we would not have been able to sustain ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a dark path along the road to finding peace, of course, and your goals and all of the wonderful things inherent in if you're doing it for the right reasons or not, and that's part of the journey. Right.
I will say I'll give him hell nonstop. I'd encourage everybody to go out there and listen. He's a showman. He's a lot like Jake over here. They know how to work a crowd. Maybe if he, followed a different path and he could have been on stage and entertaining hundreds or thousands out there.
Here we go.
Yeah, well, I just want to say, since Ric Reeves did the shameless plug, I just want to do a plug for Callaway Baseball. From about 1994 until 93 until 99, 98 or 99. We won 6 Dixie Youth Championships with under the guises of Meadow Springs Land and Realty Baseball and also CMP Welding. Both just, I mean, I don't think anybody in this room has made an accomplishment like that Dixie Youth baseball run. 6 years in a row, champions. That's why I'm here. I want to talk about that.
Hey, we got 2 in a row at Boone's Mill.
Boone's Mill, 2 in a row.
We were the Virginia Furniture Market.
I will say, years later, the Callaway Ruintons. I was 2014. That was about my 18-year-old year. We won a championship. We brought it back for the Callaway boys. Callaway Ruintons. We won a rec championship. I will say that. All right.
Yeah.
Did you?
We brought it back for Callaway. You won one.
Wait, did you say CMP Welding?
Yeah.
Crawford and Power
Fuck,
Welding?
we can't take that name.
No,
if
don't
things
do
don't
that.
work out.
Damn.
It was something along along the lines of erect constructions. Yeah, something about it.
Could you say that just a tad?
Erect.
Once more. No, once more.
CMP Welding erect construction.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
We stay erect.
no, actually,
splendid.
the last time we played FloydFest, and Kris was there. We played
Here we
at the beer garden. Well, actually, we played another stage, and I don't remember. Oh, the Pringle tent.
Yes.
And then we played the beer garden, and actually, my favorite. This is how things go full circle. My favorite singers ever, with seldom seen, Starling. His
John
son
Starling.
Jay was there. John is my favorite, and Jay was there and actually played the entire set with us at the beer garden.
Wow.
Which he knew Gabe or whatever, but if it
Outstanding.
hadn't been for FloydFest, it would not have happened at all. So it was really cool.
No, I give him all kinds of hell. And, quite a bit on the last show, we talked about, Franklin County and support and stuff. But when that announcement was made, there's a lot of people around here excited. I know a ton of people bought tickets to that just because they were playing up there, it just kind of how the county went. I didn't get a chance to go up there and listen to it, but, it's kind of one of those things. So,
It's crucial to keep things local for sure. And especially if you put that with
It's good for you, Josh.
talent, it just promotes everyone proper.
I mean, you've been in the business for an awful long time. I mean,
Good Lord, here.
I mean, hey, you can kind of speak a little bit on just the talent we have around here, just in the Roanoke region alone. It's kind of mind boggling. Everybody focuses so much on Asheville, but I mean, this part of Virginia, Southwest Virginia,
root out here for sure. Southwest Virginia,
a taproot.
A tap root.
I was at the
But
first.
the tree don't fall over.
I was at the first FloydFest. Remember that fog that came through and it rained a bunch,
hurricane.
and there was only one stage back then.
Oh,
But
Covered in fog.
Larry Keel played there,
yeah, Larry.
and Lost and Found, Franklin County boys, they played there. And I remember it's the first time I ever saw somebody's.
Doc Watson was there.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
That's the first time I ever saw somebody's bridge pop off because of like humidity in
Because
the
of
air.
weather, yeah.
And it was Alan Mills, who lives in Patrick County, just
No
down the road.
shit.
His bridge popped off his bass, and I'd never seen anything like that. But I think it was like Jenny Keel, like brought her bass up on stage.
Yes.
Was something like that.
Jenny or Bryn from Peter Rowan.
Oh yeah, because Peter Rowan was there
Yes.
too. That's right.
That's who it
I don't
was.
remember much about it, but yes.
How the hell does a bridge pop off a bass?
I have no idea because I think they're glued, and then the tension from the strings.
Yeah,
Bass
holds it
players,
in
you
place.
can correct me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen it happen twice. The second time was because I saw Gabe Roby step on one and it pops. They pop off if you step on a wooden bridge. That's even if it's glued.
That'll do it.
Yeah. But man, what a great time! What I love about FloydFest is it wasn't like maybe it was overnight, but like at the beginning, it was we're gonna stay true. These musicians are all, and there was always like this bluegrass Sunday. So the second year I brought my dad, and I was like, Dad, come with me to this bluegrass festival. And we got there, and Aaron Neville was playing. He was like, you're a liar, son. You said this is a bluegrass festival. And everybody plays the pool. It was something like that. He was like, you're a liar. David Grissom's not bluegrass. Anyway, he's yeah, something like that. I couldn't do it. You're better.
I love it.
Now, if I remember our last show with you, Kris, we had a moment with Lucky Dubé.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you were in South Africa, maybe?
Show of hands in the room who know who in the hell Lucky Dubé is.
No
Just
one
these
here.
two. Just them two.
Just
That's
us
it.
two.
That's
And
it.
that was a moment.
That's why this show works out so well, because Simon, with his MI6 and CIA experience, has been around the world so much. He can name somebody like Lucky Dubé, who happened to be at the first FloydFest.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest, I think, African reggae legends that came after, the infamous
Bob Marley. Yeah.
But he had an African beat behind it, and
he was legit.
And when he
did not fuck around.
No,
basically.
But and when he put an African tilt to the reggae, as if it wasn't African enough, when he put that chorus behind what he was doing, it was, to me, that was revolution there, because it came back. That was full circle shit right there, and it is because
Bob Marley brought
awesome.
reggae to Africa, the whole entirety of Africa, and reggae has kind of like become the anthem genre of the entire continent. And Lucky Dubé just carried that,
and carried it forward, to me, with an African rhythm behind it,
with African soul,
and it was so genuine. I mean, that blew me away. Awesome, and that was back to the first show.
That's
so
what I love about
I haven't
FloydFest,
forgotten about it,
because like there were visionaries behind the scenes, because clearly the majority of us that showed up to this festival had no idea what we were getting into. For instance, like nobody had ever heard of Nathaniel Ratecliffe and the Night Sweats until we went to FloydFest, and there was so much world music that I don't know who it was, Kris, but somebody had their finger on the pulse of that kind of thing.
Yours truly.
Yeah. And
They're
some
one
of us
favorites actually right now.
Yeah, God,
we saw
Nathaniel,
Farm Aid.
One of the best live shows out of any I've ever seen.
He's Van Morrison of this generation.
It's
wow.
I had my sound.
Well, that's a statement.
Stage right in Monitor World, and they were looking at me. They didn't know who he was. I was like, "Do you realize what you're witnessing right now? This guy
is a bad motherfucker.
Is the band, is Van Morrison, is all the greats, Bob Dylan, all of them wrapped into one high energy, electric, authentic, badass show.
But still has
breaking
the folk
tambourines.
Oh yeah, he still has the folksy. He can do his own
He's
his
incredible.
solo stuff.
He's incredible.
Will
So
make you feel
professional.
like the I don't know.
Yes.
Damn thing.
I remember
Some
the
of
first
the best
time
stuff I've ever heard.
you sent it to me, and
Incredible.
immediately just hit me in the chest, and I was like,
So
this is going to be something we're listening to for years and years and years to come.
Yeah, my dad lives in Denver. That's where I'd heard of them. He had sent them to me when it was when the whole son of a bitch give me a drink thing happened, which they that was probably after you had already filmed these. But I started diving in. Holy shit! I'm a huge Van Morrison would have probably been one of my top 3 ever. Love Van Morrison so much.
Same.
And then I hear this guy, and he's like I don't like comparing to say that because it's not, you know what I'm saying? With music, it's like comparison is a comparison, but he is the Van Morrison of this generation. And we lost that. Like he's nailed it. I love it. He's one of my favorites.
Well, I think what did Picasso say? That good artists imitate, great artists steal.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of great artists.
That's poetic. Say that again, Kris. Say that again.
Music. Good artists imitate, great artists steal. It's a matter of absorbing intentfully the heroes, the greats, and then obviously making it your own because you're different than them. That's the beauty of art, man, and really being authentic to your craft.
Similar to that, something that like if I'm going to write or I'm going to do anything like that, I've always said, and I actually stole this from Hootie and the Blowfish, but Darius was telling a story. This is when I was young. I used to be infatuated with YouTube when it was a big thing, And he was telling a story one time. He said, I was sitting in a bar in Charleston, South Carolina, and I heard this song come on, which is by one of my very favorites ever, the Black Crowes. And he was like, it was the hot thing at the time. And I looked at the bartender and I was like, who the fuck is that? And it was She Talks to Angels. And Darius Rucker was like, so I went home that night and I'd been drinking all night, and I said, I'm going to write my version of She Talks to Angels, and it turned out to be Let Her Cry. And so I stole that from Darius Rucker. And I was like, well, fuck it. That's the way I'm going to start trying to write myself. I'm going to find something I love, and I'm going to rewrite it in my words.
And that's
That's how I've always
innovative as
tried to do
well.
that, yeah.
You know,
The
the
Beatles
innovation behind
studied
it.
all the old greats, but they didn't sound anything like them.
The Stones with
Stones,
Muddy
the same
Waters
thing.
and everybody else.
Yeah.
It's
It's
the same
taking
thing.
what you've learned from somebody and putting it into your own.
That's right.
It's like
Remolding.
you got to learn from the greats, and then you got to put it and make it to where it's like, all right, I've learned from you. I see what works, but I want to interpret it in my own way, and I'm sure y'all learn the same way. Like,
I think in a lot of different ways, we kind of stand on the backs of giants, you know,
yeah,
as far as,
you have to.
you know, music. I mean, definitely with like technology and everything, you know, I don't think one of us could, you know, build a computer from scratch, you know what I'm saying? But it's like something that we use all day to day, but art and music is all the same. It's like, you know, without somebody else like putting names to all the notes and stuff and figuring out all this stuff, like it would be a lot harder for any of us to do what we do, you know, and so that information just gets passed down time and time again, and we make something new out of it. It's just part of the whole thing, you know.
I could never have discovered electricity, but I could wire the fuck out of a house.
Right?
Well, and now with all the technology and stuff, like just being able to, as an artist, being able to put our fingerprint on something, if we are imitating somebody we really, really respect and love, I mean, I think that's the greatest form of flattery. Honestly.
Same thing goes like one of my favorite songwriters, Chris Knight. I don't know if anybody here knows much of Chris Knight, but we had the chance to open for him early on when we had just started, and I didn't know who he was at that time.
I like that
honestly,
he'll tell audience members to shut up.
and
It's really, it's powerful when he'll tell somebody who paid to see him play to shut up.
yes,
He's getting ready to play a song. I'm playing Down by the River. It's what
Shut
you've been
up.
yelling for. Shut up.
I sat in on an Aaron Lewis acoustic. So I went to the Harvester and he did acoustic, right? And so I got a free ticket. I was with my friend. Everybody knows him here, Drew Brock. And he gave me a free ticket. He was like, bro, I got a free ticket, Aaron Lewis at the Harvester, acoustic. Let's sit down. So I get fucked up, right? I
don't
get
say.
drunk. I get drunk. I'm thinking like Creed,
Not
Aaron
you.
Lewis. I think Creed, Aaron Lewis. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Creed,
with
you mean
this.
Stained?
My bad. I'm so sorry.
Come on,
But hey, that's the wood from talking. I apologize.
Scott Stapp is somewhere getting ready to throw a lawsuit on you that
So
you couldn't
I'm-
even imagine.
Either way, I'm turned up to 10. Well, I'm ready to, whoa, you know, Ric Reeves' thing. Next thing you know, he's like, hey, shut up. Like, we're playing this. And I'm like, oh, God. Okay. Like, I was way too drunk. for that.
How often does he Rick Reeves these things? How often does that happen? Absolutely. I love it.
Hey,
I love
she
that
doesn't
energy.
lie. She doesn't lie.
Hey,
No,
hey.
but
You're
that
lucky.
was the
You're lucky.
first time I've ever.
Yeah, so Chris Knight, that was the thing is there's a level of respect that goes in. Like Chris Knight might play. To me, he's like a hero. But he's it's not like he's out here selling out civic centers or arenas or whatever. But I can tell you from the groups that we've run around with, some really really successful artists that are our age. Every single one of them looks up to Chris Knight. It's a respect thing. It's like so. You can take what you've seen other people do or have some form of success with, take it in and then regurgitate what that means to you. And I think that's what art really is. I mean, it's the same. It's the same concept
Inspiration.
with building homes. It's the same concept with wrestling. It's the same concept. You have your guy or your group of, what's the whole saying of you are who you surround yourself with. So it's like if you have very successful friends and you try to grow like they do, you're going to probably be pretty successful. It's the same thing with music. I mean, you listen to these people, you listen to them.
It's the same thing for life. You always find yourself, you find yourself, the older you get, if you're successful, everybody you hang around with is successful. It might not be in the same thing. Like you might have one buddy that's it's a really good banker, like Snubbard.
Right. Yeah.
Or, you might have, a friend that's
Pool guy.
that cleans pools like Infinity Pools out in Austin, Texas. You need to be a subscriber at patreon.com/GetOnTap Everhart.
That was
Some
seamless.
of the best things I've learned in wrestling are from seminars from Hall of Fame wrestlers that they'll give you a second of their time, really. And it's like you pay for these seminars and you go and learn. And maybe you do an hour of wrestling out of 3 hours, but if they do 3 hours of talking, you will learn so much more from that. And then you take it and like they said, you can learn anything in life. Like I've learned more in seminars than I have from actually like going out there and just like going through routines of bumps and stuff, and like just taking this and that and little things.
Well,
Hall of
like,
Famer.
when you surround yourself with people that are motivational, basically you got to surround yourself, like me and this dipshit right here. And our main rivalry comes from a stupid fantasy football league. Like, for that, just something as dumb as that, I walk around and talk shit about him nonstop, to his face. Behind his back, I'll, spread great words.
Who won the fantasy
but
football
something
league?
ridiculous. But like this entire league, you surround yourself with all these guys, and you find these people over the years that you make sure you stay in contact with, and you find out that if you're successful, everybody else, no matter what they do, like Amos, successful as shit in 100 different things. You guys are successful in music, wrestling, promotions, turning people off of music. Everybody, around here.
Education.
Everybody, like,
Being
but
a
we
good
all find
educator.
ourselves in this room together tonight. It's not an accident. We're not here for any other reason other than you gravitate towards that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of stuff you got to find. And, everybody sitting around this room is kind of in that fashion. And you're right. It's just,
to be inspired by music, and be influenced by music. To me, it's, you can pick up a lick, you can pick up a bridge, you can pick up a vibe, you can pick up that drum beat, that you want to kind of replicate. You kind of think, damn, that sounds really good. Whether it's whatever beat it may be. But then you can own it. And that to me is about creation. And that's the coolest shit that you guys can do.
Yeah.
It's about finding out who you really are. That's the beauty of it, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we all love the craft. I think that's why we're congregated here. But we're also all entertainers because we want to bring joy, we want to bring a feeling, we want to bring something to people because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all different ways.
We gotta be for real if it's gonna make an impact.
I
People
say
can
this
seek out bullshit.
as a group for everybody here in Franklin County. I guarantee this. I don't think anybody is in this business and their business to be famous. I think that everybody wants to make a mark and give back to what they've all, like, I'm sure everyone has been touched by your line, like by music. I'm sure everybody's been touched by music. Y'all want to give back to that, to the people that touched you. You want to be that guy that gives back to them. And it's like, how can I be that guy? Like, what touched me when I was a kid? Right? I'm sure that
we don't need to go into that.
Oh yeah, that was. Hey, you ain't gotta tell him. Hey. No, but man, like, you started for some reason.
I'll tell you a story. This goes to TK and Dragon with us. So when, right before COVID hit, this just shows the dedication of everybody in this room, especially in our band. And one reason, like, loyalty is a huge thing to us because
It should be.
We've had and I won't say names. Like, one of the hardest things we've ever done, ever, is parting ways with somebody who helped us get very far along. It's still a positive relationship. There was that was to a point where we needed financially and career-wise to make a move. Other than that, the band guys, I remember we had we said, all right, things were cooking, man. Everybody quit their jobs. We were to a point where we were on the road. Everything's going good. This before COVID. It was December of 2019. We said, Ethan and I got together and we were like, all right, we're making a big push. Our agent, we've got a bunch of dates on the books for this coming year. Let's get the band guys. And, there's opening dates and then there's headline dates. Headline dates, typically, if you have a market, pay way, way better than an opening date, depending on who you're with. And there were some opening dates that we had finally said, Ethan and I were like, you know what, we want to branch out. We're building markets. So we're going to take a mega hit financially to go do these certain areas. And we said,
like 20 times.
Like 20 times over and over again. But we knew what we were setting ourselves up for. We had planned this out and set our lives up to where we could do this.
Cost of business.
So TK, Alex, and Eric, he's not with us. He's still alive. He's not here tonight. He's still alive. But we were like, let's take the guys out and get a steak dinner. And we're going to just tell them our plan for the next year. We're going to go over everything and we're just going to lay it out. We're going to be honest. We're going to say there's going to be some shitty paying dates along the way. But let's just be upfront. Let's just say, if you guys want out, now's your chance. Get out. We'll So we go have this steak dinner, and I'm not afraid to say this. There were some dates on the books for that year where I had told the guys, I said, Ethan and I are going to not pay ourselves a fucking cent. We're actually going in the hole. There's like a slew of these dates. We can afford to pay you guys $50 a night in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Louisiana. You know, and I'm naming this off thinking these guys are like, fuck you, dude. We're out of here, right? Not one of them balked it at all. They actually were
If anything, they were
board.
on fire.
They were on fire to
When you
do
mentioned
it.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell quesadillas are included. And the joke of that is like, I don't know, 2 months later, 2020 hit and COVID hit and everybody had quit their jobs. And I get a call from our agent one day and he's like, oh, man, this is a bitch. I've never seen anything like it. It looks like the next few months we're going to lay low. We're going to reschedule. And I was like, fuck, okay. I'll call the guys. We'll figure it out.
This isn't, this isn't what we talked about at
This
the
isn't
steak
what
dinner.
we were talking about at the steak dinner. You know, like that's going to cost these guys at least $300 over the next few months of $50 dates. But
by the way, you owe me that steak dinner, man.
yeah. But then a week later, we get another call, and he's like, "Dude, this is the whole curve thing. I don't know what's going on, but all the dates are pretty much shit through the end of the summer." So I'm like, well. I mean, they all just quit their jobs, so surely they could just go back into work like they didn't just do that, and maybe notice, right? But my point behind that whole story is, you know, the music and the passion for it and the feeling. Who is willing to ride in a van with a trailer of 6 grown men packed together and share 2 hotel rooms for $50 a night? Nobody. And so yeah. So it's a loyalty thing, and I think Ethan and I have had that conversation many a times. Like, man, you know, you go to Nashville, you go to these places, and people will try to control what you're doing or put you with this person or that person. It's like, fuck that. Who's willing to stick it out for $50 a night? You know what I'm saying?
Stay true.
And so it's like, but if that doesn't move you, that was part of when times get hard. Because don't get me wrong, everybody in this room knows that there are. No matter what your career is, there have been multiple times where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Am I ruining my whole life? You know? But then I think about everybody that's made a sacrifice to be in it with us. There's no turning back. It's like, there's no way that you could ever get out of that, or there's no way that you could ever backtrack on the people that have been there to help make it work. And that's why it's like, to me, there's only a few careers that you can do that in, and music is probably the leading one.
Being an artist, right?
Yeah.
I saw Bryan Cranston do a speech at UVA a few years ago, and he was talking about, you know, his struggle with becoming an actor. And he mentioned that there's so many actors that, you know, they're in it for 3 years and then they're like, oh, it didn't work out, I'm gonna go back to flipping burgers or whatever the hell it might be. And he was like, you know, once you commit to it,
You're in.
Period.
There's not a success story out there that involves quitting.
No. And he said, you know, people call
Except
him
for George
lucky,
Jones.
right?
Well, true. Yeah.
Let's not forget when he got arrested in like 81 in
That's
Georgia.
true.
He quit, but then he became like a superstar.
Yeah.
But that's quitting something else.
Yeah, well, but you know, luck is what he was talking about. People call you lucky, but it's about, you know, being prepared by playing, by painting, by writing, whatever it is you do all the time, so that when any opportunity comes its way, you're ready to kick some ass.
Yeah. And that's what we had them on board. We were like, look, that was the whole thing going into that year. We said, we're not saying no to shit. No, it's not in our vocabulary this year.
Right.
If it means we're going to take a $1,500 loss for the weekend, we're taking it. We'll figure out a way.
Just make sure you kick ass.
Right. We're going to make it worth it. When we get back home, we're going to remodel bathrooms. We're going to do whatever we can do to make that $1,500 loss.
And for that 30 minutes you're on stage opening, at whatever club it may be, you better make sure you bring it, because
make it worth it.
Hey, kill it, boys.
You might not ever be back there.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
Make
a fickle
impression.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I've been hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole,
I would never have the balls to do what you do,
and it would break
because I've been
break
one that's
most
lost
people down.
like you money.
Yeah, it would cripple most people, but it's part of the doing it for the right reasons, the testing ground, the proving ground, and you better have a vision of what it is you're trying to accomplish and your commitment.
Yeah.
You know, Abe Lincoln, one of the great statements I love that I've always kind of, utilized was, once you commit to succeed, there's no other option.
That's true.
And you read his story, man, that mucker went
through it.
hell,
Yeah.
man. Oh my God.
That's the thing. Promoting is a whole nother beast.
It's insane.
And anybody coming from the opposite side of that, where I have an obligation to sell tickets in a market, we've played markets. We've had in Georgia before, we've had 0 tickets sold coming in. You want to talk about feeling like a real piece of shit. We've never been stiffed. And it's almost like one of those things where I'm looking at it like, man, to be a promoter, you have to be a believer and you have to have balls of steel, because I know you guys get knocked more than you ever make anything.
On those shows, did you go out and rock that shit?
Oh, yeah. We've never not played a show.
And those fans want to come back. That's a chance that the promoter takes. But I know you boys, and the way that y'all play and the way that y'all get down, I'm sure that you made their money back no problem. Yeah. But some people don't.
That's the risk.
Don't. It is a risk.
The biggest thing is, and this is a quote from Charlie Daniels, but you don't look at the empty seats.
Yeah. So we got to, a cool thing, one of the managers we were working with, we got to do a bunch of Charlie Daniels dates. And right before Charlie passed, we were set to do some New Jersey dates and things with him. And our manager at the time for Christmas that year had gotten us a book, both of us each, and he had gotten Charlie he was really close with Charlie, got him to sign it and write us a little note. And the title of the book is Don't Look at the Empty Seats. And the whole idea behind that is, fuck the people who aren't here. You're not worried about them.
That's right.
You're worried about the people that just spent $30 to come see you tonight. If there's 100 of them, or 2,000 of them, or 5,000 of them, you're worried about those people. You're not worried about the empty seats. You're gonna fill those.
That's professionalism.
Yeah.
I've legit done a show in wrestling.
Yeah.
With 12 people in attendance. And I know that sounds crazy. I traveled all the way out to Pipestem, West Virginia. And I don't know if y'all have ever done anything like this before, but 12 people showed up. And I mean, we promoted this shit and all that. But I promise you,
plenty of time.
I promise you, I put on the same
12
show.
sounds pretty good.
I put on the same show for 12 people that I'm going to put on for 5,000 people. And that's just a level, like, you have to just accept it, because you don't know,
that's what makes
like you said,
yeah.
If you don't know if maybe 12 people show up, but maybe 5,000, it doesn't matter either way. I'm not going to cut my performance, and I'm sure y'all won't either way. And that's something you have to live with as a performer and as an entertainer.
Because you don't know who out of those 12 people, one person sitting in that crowd, one person, that's all it takes in that crowd.
It doesn't matter. They paid. To me, they paid.
He needs whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he needs a private show. Y'all would be perfect. Thing. It's a wedding. We're going to pay you $8,000. You know what I mean?
To me, it's a live practice, and you still get to try to perform your stuff in front of a live audience. It doesn't matter if it's 5, 12, 17, 5,000. Either way, like, I'm going to give it my 100%.
Because we're in the service industry.
Yeah, like,
we're serving these
someone
people.
paid for this.
That's what I was going to say. It's kind of a respect thing, too, because it's like, some of these people, let's say there's only 10 people in the crowd. Well, it's like, 3 of them probably had to line up a babysitter. A couple of them had to, they had to budget their week up, so it's like can I afford this ticket? They got to pay gas. I mean, everybody's feeling the taxes, inflation, and everything. So if somebody makes an effort to be out there to show that mutual respect and be like, I'm going to give you the best that I got. I mean, that's just like the only thing that makes sense.
So many times I went into the festival just knowing how crippling the debt was, but I held my face up and still
hold that shit together.
Made sure the artists were taken care of. Made sure the staff was.
You might make a fan. At least one, and that might
0.00001%. I've done my job.
Yeah.
If
you make that one fan, if they happen to buy merch, they're supporting you. It doesn't matter. Even if you make their day and they tell someone, that is them telling. That's free, like, advertisement right there. These boys rocked it. You need to listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't pull a performance. It doesn't matter. I feel that way, dude. 12 people, 5 people, 1 people. It doesn't matter.
Hey, the starving artist is a real.
Yeah, if you can convince those 12 people to bring 12 more people next time, that's a huge win.
And that's the point.
Yeah, that's the goal, because think of it as a baseball game. In a baseball game, if you're the starting pitcher, you're going to go out there and you might throw 100 pitches in that game. Well, not all 100 of them are going to be strikes. Not all 100 of them are going to be perfect. But you know, 100 times you go out there, if 70% of them end up working for you, you have a damn good day. Well, 70% of the time, you know, you reach one person, and we might do a show on this podcast and reach 10 people. One of those 10 might be, you know, somebody off the wall incredible. You know, something like tonight, you know, maybe a few thousand people might listen to this. Maybe in 10 years, 100,000 people have listened to it. But maybe y'all boys get together. You know, Kris, I want to get to this as well, you know, because it's been a minute since we've had you on the show. But, you know, in the future, he's got something big going on. All of a sudden, you all are there in some way, shape, or form. It really benefits Franklin County. So maybe a shit ton of people may or may not listen to this show, but a shit ton of people in the future might get to be entertained by a massive
really
festival put on by you, featuring the, you know what I mean? Like bringing these connections together, you know, take your swings, take your opportunities, take your chances. You know?
I don't think the industry still doesn't understand roots music the way that we know how powerful it is, man. And it's interesting. It takes this coalition, it takes these connections and the right conduit to get to these people in the industry to make this music really known. And I think it's happening in a slow way, but these groups, our commitment, yeah. But it fascinates me that they don't know real music in the industry.
I feel like they do know. I feel like they're scared of that because I think that people like you know, and I don't know Nathaniel Rateliff's business deals or anything, or folks like that. I think where the power struggle comes in is now that it's shifted to streaming and to your other platforms that people have access to without radio. I think it scares the hell out of Nashville and a lot of the big
people with money.
It scares them because they realize the power's being taken away to the point where, you know, a band like us, we can go out here and get 30, 40, 50, 60,000 listeners on Spotify without their help. Doesn't amount to your Morgan Wallens, doesn't amount to, you know, all these other, but it's a career and it's people in seats. And I think the more you take away from that, the less chance of a superstar that they have for their own greedy reasons. And I think, what
do you think about Zach Bryan? What do you think he did to the industry?
Oh, okay. That's a great question.
That's a really great question.
So I think Zach Bryan is brilliant in his own right. I think that as far as the industry goes with that, and I'll even bring Tyler Childers into this, and I'll bring Sturgill Simpson into this too. I know that those three, like I said, I don't like comparing people because it's, you know, I think that people want real, people recognize raw talent, people recognize to a point where it's gotten so watered down. And I'm also not trying to sit here and say, you know, I don't want to be the shit talker that's bashing Florida, Georgia. Everybody bashes Florida. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I think somebody like Zach Bryan is what people wanted. I think they're commercializing it now in a way that is ruining the shit out of it.
Yep. I personally can't even listen to it anymore. And I loved it at
first. I was trying not to say that, but yes.
I think all three of those guys really flipped the industry on its head, though.
I think there's a revolution.
Absolutely. And yet the big guys with money that I talk to in my, you know, sector of the industry, they still don't quite
know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it, man.
And I think it really truly started with Childers and Sturgill, to where they were like, what the fuck's going on?
Now explain that. Like, what do you mean they don't know what to do with it? Like,
they're commercialized.
They do know what to do with Zach Bryan, though.
That was what I was getting ready to say.
Looking at the shiny stuff.
The
They're
Navy,
not looking at the...
Well, what do country musicians love? You know what they love? Songs about America and pickup trucks and coolers in the back of their truck. And this guy got released into the wild because he was a Navy vet, like the third, well, maybe the first only that got released into the wild. Like he was under contract with our government, and they said, you owe us 4 years. And they're like,
you can't get more American.
Somebody can do this. Somebody can do this in his place. Let's let him go sing songs about heartache and stuff like that. I don't think it's any different than, like, you know, the early guys. I don't think it's much different than Elvis, but
Bruce Springsteen's a good comparison.
but at the time, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but at the time, maybe America was more in tune with like roots movement music, and they're not so much anymore. So stuff like that.
We also have the internet, which is just
right. That's true, but I just don't think I don't think we're in tune with it, and I think so when stuff like this happens, you're right. The publicists and everybody else that are involved in making money for the sake of making money, they're confused. And we're still here. The people that love music, the people that love roots music, the people that love like real songs, like, you know, I talked about this the last time we were on together. Like, you guys do like you're closer to like stuff that people in pop country would enjoy, but there's no lying about the like you guys aren't lying, and some of those guys are, and you can see right through it. That's my point.
Yeah,
like I don't think maybe Zach Bryan's felt heartache or something like that, but he's also not trying again to take from somebody else that's done it before him. He's not trying to sound, fortunately, not like some of these guys in pop country. He's not trying. The same was true for Tyler Childers. The first time I met Tyler Childers was at FloydFest. He was the first set was on that little porch stage.
Porch stage, yeah.
And it was like people didn't know what to think. Even those of us who were in tune with like these roots movements, like, you know, those of us who had gone to see Fish before and like, why can't they bottle this and sell this in the stores? It's because they don't know what to do with it. It's like it's too unusual.
I think that the commercialization, I think when you reach a certain level, and yet again, this comparison can go for any business. I think when you reach a certain level, when the money is at that point, they don't, you know, I think what you were asking is, you know, if you're taking that to a commercial level and now it's becoming the new pop of, you know, because let's be honest, Zach Bryan now is the new popular. That's what everybody's chasing, right? And that gets annoying. I mean, but it's a pendulum that swings, and it's just is what it is. But
always,
I think when it hits a certain level of success for somebody like Zach Bryan, there's only a few more routes to take. Because let's be honest, where he was at, you know, keep it small, keep it all. The dude was making a living. He could have had whatever career he wanted for the rest of his life. But I think when you get the commercial business side of it involved, there's only one more route to take, and that is your Taylor Swift,
he's getting paid right now.
It's
for that
God
for that specific lane though. Just circling
3.5 a gig.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So you know,
circling back around, like I just feel like Sturgill and Tyler walked, so Zach Bryan, and there's going to be more.
Sturgill was like, "Fuck this, man."
See, I love it.
There's going to be more. There's going to be more after Zach Bryan.
Open my guitar case right here in front of people like Florida Georgia Line. And you
Yeah.
can drop dollar bills in here, and it has nothing to do with money. This has everything to do with me sending a message to those people. We're still here.
Yes.
Yeah.
People
I
like
love
us
that.
are still here.
Sturgill and Tyler walk so Zach can run, and others can run.
But you just answered
and
it,
I think that's going to be the lane.
Yeah, I think you answered it. I think it comes down to a personal choice.
That's what it boils.
Because you have that option. Let's be honest. I mean, Zach Bryan had, all right, even better example, even more recent example is the Oliver Anthony guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you know what?
Go on, take the money.
It's not my thing.
Me and
But
Amos
I'll
had this
say-
conversation
I'll
last
say
night.
this.
He was like, how in the hell is Jake and Ethan and them boys not got $1 million contract and that dude does? I mean, it's just,
Well, I'll put it this way. And kudos to him.
to him.
and good
man.
to, yeah, well, I'm not
But-
knocking him at all, but
Yeah.
mind
But here's the thing is you can take an act like that when you have that initial. That's the opposite of the slow burn we were talking about before the mics were rolling. But when you have that amount of boom, okay, the industry looks at that, they take it and say, well, this is zero risk for us. Let's pump $20 million into this guy and make this $100 or $500 million project, right? And because they're going to make that. They're absolutely going to make that. And at that point, your Sturgills or that's when your ego personality comes into play. All right. So
What is it to really be an artist?
yeah, if you're happy with what you're doing,
Wolfpack.
you don't need all that.
Hey.
Wolfpack, good God.
All right, so let's talk about being independent and not owing people. Like, they are a band that proves you can do it.
Pretty cool.
They're cool guys, but also
Theo
they're
Katzman
the
is
first.
probably
They're the first group that has sold out Madison Square Garden.
Me and you talked about this last time we hung out.
Management, without a manager, without people coming in and saying, this is what we're going to do with the lights. There's a lot for us as like roots musicians to learn from people like that. I'm not saying I want to do that. I don't. I'm going to keep being a principal, but I'm saying like those guys, there's proof out there. And Oliver Anthony's initial
about finding
success,
our niche. We were talking about
niche. Avett Brothers, they're prime example.
Are they independent?
Right.
They're not independent.
They're not
anymore.
now. Not now.
But when they were, it's like people eat it up.
Are they not independent?
Not they are like co-owners with their label. I want to say, and I think
pretty
their
much
management
Okay, but
company.
they have an independent.
They're the
agent,
flagship.
management's
They're
always
flagship.
been-
It's all
in house.
But who was
Grassroots,
working
yeah.
out all the details from Madison Square Garden? It's Corey Wong and Joe Dart and Wolf himself. It's like those guys.
They're a
doing the
They are a
legwork.
unicorn.
Yeah.
Who's read Ric Rubin's book?
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's
you've
he?
read it. He just
I've got
he's
TK actually
That's
gave me
the
that.
Bible for the creative. Whether you're a musician, whether you're a fucking painter, whether you're
I've gotten 3 chapters in.
doesn't matter.
The craziest,
I read it.
most
Phenomenal.
The craziest thing that he said, like in that book, though, and then he said it again in an interview, was when you are an artist, you create for yourself if you want to be successful.
First.
Yeah.
It has to
That
be
is
authentic.
that's not intuitive. Like creating for other people. Like what
And
can
I
I
was just
write?
writing.
What can I write to make him cry?
The
Or
audience
you guys
is
cry?
secondary.
Yeah. If
Right.
it makes you cry as a songwriter,
Then you know it's going to get across.
then they're going to hear it.
Prime
Yeah,
example.
it's exactly
Yes.
right.
You
Rick
can't be
Rubin is a
like,
genius.
look at me, everybody.
Right. So there's a song we have that's went over really well, "Letting You Go," and we there's your whole little catch line in there. I've smoked weed strong enough to make Willie grin. That's your hook. But the actual song I had written, it was about suicide. Really, was what the whole thing was about. Now I told that story one night and got like the death stares from some folks. So I just quit even saying what the fucking thing was about. But one night we played it at we were on 30A Songwriters Fest down in Destin, Florida. And it was the last night we had played. We'd been like put on these lineups with these amazing songwriters, that have written hit after hit after hit after hit. And here we are. We've never written a hit, but we were on the festival and we played this last night. It was like they shut down. If you've never been to 30A Songwriters Fest down in Destin, they shut down like everything on the 30A strip and turn it into a venue. They house all the artists. You're looking Justin Towns Earl. We had dinner with him. Oh my God, Zach Brown Band's guys, John Driscoll Hopkins. It's just this influx of songwriters in the community.
Isbell was down there.
Isbell was down there. It was awesome. John Prine was there the year right before he passed away, which is one of my idols. Yes.
Oh yeah.
And he was down there. So we're like thrilled to even be on this thing. So we play this song the final night in a hotel. And really the song is just about loss. I could say it's about suicide, or I could say that was my idea when I was writing it. But ultimately it's about loss of some sort. It could be it could be a heartbreak. It could be, but we play it that last night, and this lady, she's probably mid-40s or so. Crowd received our whole set really well. At the end of the night, we're packing up. We're standing in the lobby about to leave, and we were talking to a couple other songwriters there, and this lady like comes running over, crying, just like drenched. And she said, I just lost my dad like months ago. And that song made this whole entire trip and all the money we spent to come down here and see this worth it. And she was like, I just had to tell you before you left. And, so to me, that's really heavy. And I'm just sitting there like, that one interaction beats the shit out of a standing ovation
That one
anywhere.
moment.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
it-
It's a personal, she felt it, she got it.
Yep.
And then that's an addiction for me.
We had better
You're doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
we had better shows on that Songwriter Fest, but that was the moment.
That was the
that
moment
was the
that meant the
moment we
most.
talked about the whole way back.
Yeah. And it's like you cannot, I don't care what anybody says, you cannot duplicate that feeling. You just can't in any other way of going through some shitty times or whatever, and just putting just some rinky dink dude from Franklin County, Virginia, putting my ideas on paper, and then some random person in Destin, Florida, who's from Texas or whatever hears it, and it moved her in a way.
I feel that, man.
That's what
Feel
I
that.
love doing.
Look,
this for.
when you can get your message across, no matter what it
Keep
is,
doing it.
and as you are like coming from Franklin County, you just singing a song, and doesn't matter what the profession is. Me with wrestling, you with a song. If you could touch a crowd and then you see the reaction, their raw reaction of what you're doing, and it just touches them to a point where you're like, all right, I'm making an impact in this person's life. And it's like, okay, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
How many times has everybody around this table needed that song or that?
Yeah.
I was
You
about
know
to
what I'm
say
saying?
You know how many times
Yeah.
I can personally say that I've heard a song from y'all and got chills? Multiple. And that's just like, it's not exactly me just fanboying right now. I love y'all. But hearing the vocals, the words, like hearing this, it gives me chills. And I could take it back to where like, all right, I could act like I don't know who you are, but I hear the words and it's just like, all right, it's giving me chills right now. These boys are onto something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making me feel it as a fan. And that's the kind of thing that I want to do as someone that's performing as well. Like, y'all are doing something incredible. And I mean, God, I get chills hearing some of y'all songs for real. And I want to point that out. Like, this is not just me. If I'm getting chills, somebody else is getting chills. Y'all are making the world feel this. I've seen your Spotify views and all that. Like, brother, y'all are killing it.
Well, I appreciate
And
I
if-
wish everybody in
sir.
the world had Ric Reeves' energy.
I know.
Hey,
I want you.
I'm not just a
hype us
hype
up
man.
every day.
I just feel like I know the grind. It's not easy to get fans. Like, you have to put your heart and soul into what you're doing. And I can see it every time y'all perform. And it makes me get into you see me act crazy a couple times at y'all's concerts. I apologize. But, I'm just getting into my real self.
thrown out.
Look,
Yes, sir. I grabbed a microphone one time and got kicked out a few times, but hey,
Like when Hammer and Forge shut down here,
been kicked out of
or
there.
whatever. You know,
Ada, Crawford, Power, Cough.
there, and the place was absolutely packed. Front to back, and
Couldn't
that was,
move.
that was all. Appreciation for you, but you know what I mean. Like that's what y'all
Shoulder
do
to
to people
shoulder,
in this
brothers.
area. That's what y'all.
It was fun to send them out.
Franklin.
It was fun to send them out because they were a really crucial part of us, getting the groundwork.
As a
That
fan
was the
in the
first
crowd, my
place.
feet couldn't hit the floor because it was so packed.
It was
so
damn,
packed.
It was hot as hell.
I'm 6'4", my feet were not in the floor. I'm like, I was squeezed in between people like a sardine trying to get a beer one time. I had to pack a 12-pack by myself with Shaun so I can get some daggone beers because the line was so long. Like, I'm not kidding. This is what
He is a hype man.
He is a hype.
Ric
I
Reeves
need
is
him on the
an
road
ultimate-
when we have a shitty
Look,
night.
Look, I'm not kidding. I really tried. I had to bring my own 12-pack so I could get the amount of beers that I needed or I felt like I needed for that night. Y'all know you've seen me at your concerts. I've been inebriated once or twice at least. But
I saw
y'all
y'all
bring
show
it out.
5 points last
Listen.
year. You were bouncing around like Larry fucking Pop.
No fucking problem. Hey, I will at every concert I'm at for Crawford and Powered. I promise you, I might be one of the loudest motherfuckers in the crowd, but I'm also the tallest, so you will notice me, and you will know that these dudes bring some level of emotion to me that I can't comprehend, and I can't even keep in my body. I got to show everybody in the crowd what I'm doing and why I'm feeling this way. I'm telling you. It's a feeling in my body. It's a feeling in my soul. I appreciate y'all.
I love you, Ric
Hell,
Reeves.
I love all y'all, Jake. Yeah,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
Ethan, we rode the fucking bus together. We
did.
listened to the iPod. He showed me good music before I knew good music, and then I started following these boys, and I was like,
I'd be
you know
afraid
what?
to know what I was even showing you.
I don't know either. No, but for real,
No, this was
we
years
grew
ago.
up on the same road. No, me and
if
Ethan
I was
right
listening
here.
to Lake Street Dive back then,
Hey, I heard it.
but
I heard it.
hope
He was a Backstreet Boys fans too, but I won't say that. I'm just
Was
kidding.
it?
I'm kidding. I'm
I'm not
kidding.
going back and deleting it.
So I listened.
No,
to
you know,
I mean, y'all shut that place down, but I mean, and it's kind of sad, with the memories a place like that would have. We're trying to find ways to build it back up, but I mean, what did that mean to y'all getting to go in there and having that kind of crowd and having that kind, local, man? I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Well, so for us, that was like the flagship place. where like when we started playing around, breweries were the thing, like, and when we really started, it was breweries. It wasn't like in the old days where it was a honky tonk or a bar or whatever. It was like the microbrews were everywhere. So that's what we started doing.
We really cut our teeth on
doing that,
really hitting that. It was region of Roanoke and surrounding areas was the breweries,
Martinsville and Bassett. So for us, it was like we had gotten to a point, and this was, I don't want to say it's luck. I think it was people resonated just at the time with what we liked. Because genuinely, before we had a catalog of music, I think, now we've got a catalog.
Humbly, they were good. They were good. He's being humble. They were very, very good. All right, go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
So, we had finally got to a point where we were able to actually pack places out. And that was one of the first where it got to the point where the owner, Caleb, I'm still really good friends with him. He called me one time and he was like, man, financially we had to kind of make it work. I know there's like a set standard of what breweries paid. And at the time we'd started working with some other people and they were like, man, like if y'all are putting 200-300 people in a place, you probably need to either find a new venue or you need to make it financially make sense. And I'll say, out of all of those places, Caleb was one of the first people. There was a few, but Caleb was one of the first people that was like, we're going to, whatever you guys need, we're going to make sure it happens. And he told us a couple times, he's like, I'm stupid for telling you this, but I need you guys here once a month to pay our bills. And which I was like, dude, we'll be here once a month. That's fine. But it got to the point where it was, you couldn't move in the place. And we're humble. We were just glad. I mean, I really never expected that. But
as a fan, it happened quick for you, man.
It happened really fast.
It did. No, like going from, this is me talking as an individual, going from show to show, and I followed y'all around for a long time. I mean, you could see the growth every single time. And by the time y'all hit the Harvester, it was like, holy Christ, like these boys are really on to something right here. Like, respect. Respect, brothers.
So when we got the word that Caleb was going to kind of have to close the doors, I don't know that that's a forever thing. The way that we talked, he wants to get back into it, but now it's not the time. We told him, because we hadn't played there in years at that point. We were like, man, as a matter of fact, I'm wearing this hoodie right now, but we were like, man, we would love to come back in and do it one last time the way we used to. And the finances, we don't really care that much about that. Let's just send it out in style, and you make whatever money you need to make to pay whatever you need to pay, get your shit sold, whatever because it was a blast. I mean, it was
fun.
I hate to see that. That's one of those things too. It's like, in the music business too, like, don't get me wrong, in this area, it's not as hard for us to get a draw or sell tickets or anything like that. And that's not being cocky. We're just lucky. There's markets where we could sell zero tickets.
You've earned it.
But it was like, I would always want to take care of the people that helped us, because Caleb was one of the first and only ones that was ever like, dude, this price is like way more than I've paid anybody else to ever be in here, but it's making sense, so let's keep doing it. Some of the other breweries, I'm not going to name names, but you know exactly who I'm talking about.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to tell this. Amos told me this not too long ago, and maybe it'd come up at some point in time, but this is why your legend grows, and this is why everybody out there and their cousins should freaking support you guys. There was an incident, and I won't name the brewery or whatever, but and maybe y'all can help me out with the story and fill in the blanks. But apparently y'all were up on stage one time doing a show, ton of people there, and some asshole in the crowd ended up getting physical with a lady, and you come off the stage and knocked the shit out of him and went right back on the stage and kept singing. So if anybody was there feeling this, but that's why
I gotta hear this one, Jake.
That's why people should come support you. And if that got you kicked out of that place, then to hell with them and fuck them. But
I'm going there.
Right there's a reason why you should go in this crazy world of assholes and dipshits. That right there is a man. That's why you should go pay $1 to see him play.
I'm not that guy.
But you were that night. Apparently, you were that night. Apparently,
and so that story, that's semi right, yeah. But some things might have been embellished a little bit. But really, all that happened that night, and Shaun's dad actually took care of me that night and helped me from making stupid decisions. It was similar to that.
I don't think it was stupid. I don't think it's stupid.
Hey,
at all.
I felt
all I know,
Your
I'm
heart-
gonna say this right now, Crawford and Power. All I know is I heard that if y'all ever need a little security, Ric Reeves is here for. You know what? Matter of fact, y'all, yeah, just go ahead. We'll talk, and I'm here for you anytime you need it. Because I'm gonna whoop someone's ass if they try to tell you. I'll tell you.
I think that belt. I think the belt backs that up.
I'll tell you this.
I don't care if it's you. No matter what, I'll pop them.
The next morning, I woke up embarrassed to death
Well,
over the whole situation.
outside of
That's
any-
who I am. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
outside of any alcohol or anything like that, your heart and the head
Yes.
was in the right place, and you did make the right decision. So
Yeah,
I think that's why everybody
you did the
else
right
looks at
thing.
it as a legendary thing. And I get your feeling on the whole matter because you're thinking,
I was embarrassed.
what is
to death.
everybody else going to think? But
That's happened
all
like
the right
5
people
times
and all the
since
good
then,
places looked at it and said, "God damn, that's a
And
a man right there. I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is how it is."
I mean, I hope, I hope they appreciate. Like I said, I was embarrassed to death over that. Whole
But
y'all
that's
went out-
something you had to do, and
y'all
I
went outside and
like
talked about it.
Like Billy said, everybody appreciates you for doing it. Like
Yeah. Well,
as you should.
I think
What,
that
But some people won't take that initiative for real. They won't. You stood out, man.
What's that?
I wish I could have been there. JB, you would have whooped somebody's ass.
I didn't whip nobody's ass. I don't know what happened. I played the
Third
fifth.
point.
Hey, as long as you made it known,
Yeah.
you made it known that was fucked up. That's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Well, I want to ask Chris, since when did we do the show with Chris? Whenever the news broke of the split or whatever, I don't know how many months ago that was, but like
June 6, 2020.
okay, so it was back in the
But who's counting?
early spring, not long after we had Spike and them on here, and I just hit Chris up a couple of days ago. I said, "Hey, look, man, we've got this great bunch of people up here tonight. We're doing a show. Come up here and hang out. I want to put you guys in touch." And he accepted. I was like, "Well, hell, man, I appreciate the hell out of you coming." But that's been a few months since then, and with a bright mind as yourself, obviously, we want to know what's been cooking in the meantime. If you got things in the oven, we working on because you've been an integral part of this part of Appalachia for bringing tourism. I think you had a massive part in Floyd in becoming the town that Floyd has become. And, and we'd be dumb not to bring you up here and generate ideas to, well, let's turn Rocky Mountain into that kind of town as well. You're sitting here, you live in Franklin County and you've got that kind of mind here. So what have you been working on in the meantime? But there's going to be something cooking, right?
Well, thank you for that, first of all. And one thing I realized after exiting the company that I created and built was, the idea on what to do. What do I keep pushing within the industry? I've been doing it for 25, 30 years. Or do I take a break? And this is time for me right now. And I am taking that break. I am staunchly very much connected with some of the, top financiers and companies in the entire festival industry. They're interested in what I have to offer. But I am just taking time right now to assess the best path forward. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and, it's interesting right now. The festival market is changing. I think, there's a lot of concern in the industry on the sustainability of the longevity of festivals going on right now. There's so many of them and they're popping up so much, and there's such a gold rush mentality to create festivals that I think if you're going to create a festival, it needs to be hyper-focused. I'm going to give you some insight here on what's going to work here. Hyper-focused festivals are the name of the game, and you can keep it as large or as niche as you want, but keep it focused and consistent, and you will win the long race. So I'm acting as a consultant in a lot of ways for a lot of these cats, but as far as getting my boots on the ground on the actual field, I'm taking a break and just checking things out. I'm strategizing.
As a side guest here,
Strategery.
ask a
That was
question?
the one word that came out there was strategery.
sorry, sorry, Simon. I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to
Assessing
know.
the scene, right?
I want to know, as a guest, and from hearing what y'all have to say, you've been at FloydFest #1, right?
Yeah.
I want to know what the difference is from #1 to right now. What is the differences that you've had to assess and take back and like, look, I need to readjust myself to be more successful, or maybe I need to, maybe I need to dial back from what I was doing. I just,
So my integrity never wavered from year one to now.
and you've been at number one, so that
I'm the last man standing in the OG.
No, I'm obsessed with that because I heard that earlier and I was like, listen, I mean, I know FloydFest is a big deal, so sorry to interrupt you. That's the last time, but I want to know, I want to make the fans and everybody that's listening know that this is like a big deal. You've been at number one and see what it is now, and I want to know, like, what is the difference? Like, what did you attack then? What do you attack now? Or is there a difference? Or explain.
So I always kept it the same from then. But, things happen where you have to make relationships in order for it to sustain. And sometimes those relationships have different ideas on why the festival exists, the direction on which the festival needs to go, and what the mission of the festival actually is. And so when you come to that fork in the road, sometimes it's best to maybe go left while they go the opposite direction,
Mm-hmm.
So that's, as far as what is different from then to now. Well, I'm not in it. That's all I'll say.
Right. Well, I know that there's
boom, boom.
Are the fan, but have you seen like a difference of fans? Like, is there a difference of
not
what happened from the first festival from what happened and now? Like, is there what they want is different, or is the vibe of the whole festival?
Markets change. The vibe of the festival never changed per se. It got a higher quality of production.
Right. But it should, it was a good,
it grows.
It was good. It was always
really
good.
It was always good. There was a quality of care for not only the patron, but the vendor and the staff, and especially the artists. The artists that never wavered. We always took exceptional care of the artists.
Yeah.
My motto from the beginning was treat all artists as royalty when they hit that field. So the integrity, I think the mission always remained the same. And yes, I think, the genre and kind of like trying to make it a sustainable business, you have to be able to advance and adjust. And make decisions that are going to be able to bring in
as the vibe changes.
And you got to be able to be flexible with that, and you have to have your ear to the ground, man.
Yeah,
constantly. The amount of R&D you have to have in order to predict what's going to be happening,
what hits,
not
what
only
doesn't
next
hit.
year, what doesn't hit, exactly, what's passe,
yeah,
what's a good legacy act that's right at the right moment. I mean, there's all these elements that you have to understand,
right?
And most people,
you can't go in with the same shit as last year because they're gonna they might not boo you out the building, but they're gonna let you know that you're not the best around anymore. Like, come on, change your shit. Maybe
shit changes.
I don't know that for facts, but I'm just like, no, I'm just saying, like, I've never been there.
Great question.
I've never been there, but you can't go back with the same gig every single fucking year.
You gotta change
and expect the fans to cheer you.
Right.
Right,
you have to understand what the market will bear.
You see what's going on this year. What's going on? All right. Let me add some of this shit, but
take away some of that shit.
I'm waiting for him to body slam somebody in like 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, he's going to get hyped up so much he might go over there and go away.
Yeah. Look, it's the same shit in professional wrestling. That's what I'm asking. No, I have to ask because it's like you can't do the same shit every single year and year out because people watch every day, right? So if they listen to your song 12 times a day, that's a random number, but whatever. If they watch, but guess what? If they do that fucking every day a week, next thing you know, your numbers are all the way up. So you got to change what you got, but you got to also like appease to what is now. So you got to do what you do. And this goes in music too. You got to do what you do, but appease to what's coming up, I guess. I assume y'all do that, but like, stay to your roots, but show them that you could do whatever the fuck they want, I guess. Instance. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
when I brought Turnpike to the festival, I was the first festival buyer in the country to bring them back.
Right.
And it was before even knowing they were going to be coming back. I just had a hunch. I followed my gut and I reached out and Red 11, they were like, how did you even know? I was like, because I'm paying attention. And I follow my gut.
Yes.
Right? So being able to bring Turnpike was a perfect trajectory into, that's why FloydFest is what it is.
They
always
eat that
just
shit up.
1.5 step ahead.
That was
always.
You know what they want to hear, and it's like, oh, this
Always.
motherfucker right here is.
in my opinion, that was
Y'all
like
play
one of the.
FloydFest?
We have it. In my opinion, that was like
I
one
was
of the.
As
working with you guys for
Ric Reeves is saying, Crawford and Power should be in FloydFest. I'm sorry, I just said, hey, I gotta say it. I don't know why I haven't ever. Y'all are stupid. I'll say it. Crawford and Power should be in FloydFest every fucking year. We're like 50 miles away, dude.
Dude,
Figure it out.
the hype man is
The business isn't that bad. These guys are. We'll get to something. God damn.
I don't know how to follow that up. but
Bravo.
I'm gonna try
welcome.
my best. I'm gonna
Welcome.
try my best.
Ric Reeves is here. I could be their goddamn agent. These guys are powerful. Sorry.
Champion. You go into the
Powerful. Did you like that? Powerful.
I just want you to look over there at your fiance, right?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
we-
I'm so sorry. Hey, listen, my beautiful fiance is
You guys
over there.
grabbed-
She's a little embarrassed. I get hyped up sometimes from time to time. I got to calm it down. I'll bring it back. Listen, I'm going to drink a beer instead of whiskey. I'm going to drink a beer instead of whiskey. I'm going to calm down. I'm back. All right. All right, I'm here. But, hey, listen, if y'all haven't heard Crawford and Power and you don't think that they're the best goddamn thing around, well, you're wrong. I don't know what to say. Listen.
He's gonna beat the word on
And
the
Chris
bullshit.
over here is telling nothing but fucking truth. Like,
You're gonna be sitting in a cage and you'll be forced.
thank you. And if you want to fight me 1-to-1, bring it on. I'm the classic pro wrestling heavyweight champion. Bring it the fuck on. All right? You can challenge me. It's going to cost you some dollars. But I'm here, available, 1-on-1. You can have me. You better be good because I'm great. All right? Anyway,
I love you,
back to
Rick.
these boys. I'm sorry. Listen.
We love you,
They
Rick.
got me on a tangent. Simon, I love
yeah.
you.
That was the best intro I
That
could
was
have ever
fucking
had.
epic.
Yeah, listen, they got to fight me for this shit.
I'm fighting for my words
You're
here.
gonna clip that, and that's gonna be the pre-show.
Hey, I used to say the same shit on the bus when me and Ethan were sitting side by side and we're listening to some music. Some asshole wants to say something to us. I said, listen here, punk. You want me to kick your ass or you want me and him to keep listening to music? Because that's what we're going to do. And guess what? He chose for us to listen to music because he didn't want his ass kicked on the bus. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Nathaniel Hanks. I'll say it. I'm just kidding, man. I love you. But I did hear about that, and if you ever want to fight, I'm here. All right.
Did he say Nathaniel Hanks on?
You heard it. You heard it. You know what I'm talking about.
We'll circle back around.
Hey, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I still.
Rick Reeves, you are a fucking
Hey, yeah, I'll
legend.
calm down. Take the mic away from me.
Just honestly, man,
What a
an
legend.
Thank
introduction.
you.
Franklin County.
But-
ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
Ethan Power is one of my favorite motherfuckers in this world, first off. Hey, we rode the bus together. Same damn. Look, we had headphones. This was back before AirPods were a thing. We had the same connected ones. There's one in each ear. Listen to the same song.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you already know. Yeah. Eminem, little 8 Mile, little Akon. Hey, you know, hey, Akon. Akon and Young Cheesy. I was on music. He was Akon. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sang the whole song together. Sorry.
Those were great times. I will never.
All right, I will admit I'm a little drunk right
You
now.
don't say.
Hey, my boss. No, Billy, you bought the Woodford?
There's a
I
lot
blame
going
him.
on in this table.
I
right
blame
now,
him
more than
for-
Woodford. I see Bootleg,
All right.
I see Lost Choice. I see.
I will take a
Craig, I
break.
see rum. I see beer. I see Yingling. I see quite a bit sitting around this table.
I went
see
on
more
a-
things getting passed around the table now. Mother of God.
I apologize. I do apologize. I'll let someone else get a word across that doesn't have to do with whooping someone's ass for a second. All right. I'll take it. I got some good beer over here. Billy, I appreciate the Yingling and
Hey,
the
no
Woodford.
problem. No problem.
I do.
Let's turn the testosterone down about 2 notches, and before he Bill Goldberg spears somebody,
I'm not ready.
Top rope.
Ric Reeves.
Ethan, at some point in time in the last 2 or 3 minutes, you were getting ready to say something.
What Chris is saying is so true from a consumer standpoint. Like, I remember seeing when that lineup got released, and I was like, "Holy shit!" That's the festival that got Turnpike, and of course it's FloydFest. Like, you couldn't have been more spot on with the timing of everything of that. And I knew it had to have been something was going on. Just because we've been on the other side of this, like, I knew something had to have been going on for you to have been able to have timed that correctly. So it's really cool to see your perspective on that.
So that's similar.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
attention.
We all talked about it. Like,
I love it.
as soon as that got announced, we were like, holy fuck,
Right.
FloydFest got Turnpike.
That's the talent of promotion. We've watched this happen multiple times where if you've got your finger on the pulse of what's happening, I feel like that's where, not to bring this back to business, but if you can have your finger on the pulse early as a promoter, that's where you can make your money, make your career. Because you
art
can
to
get
business just like there's an art to playing guitar.
right. I've seen promoters come in on an act. We've been on the show and watched this happen, where promoters come in on an act that is, they might have gotten that whole agreement done with the agency. Give me 4 mutually agreeable offers for XXXX. Something happens in that artist's career, as we're talking about Turnpike getting back together, whatever. Something happens in that career, you get first dibs on the date for a price that was negotiated.
Dude, I did that with the Lumineers.
Yeah, okay.
The year they had that breakout
album.
I paid $30,000 for those guys,
and they were probably playing $250,000 shows.
Dude,
after that album.
after that, they were getting like 600 plus.
Yeah.
Same with Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
And I got her right when she was like there. And
if you can catch
while
it,
she was playing FloydFest, she was worth like almost $1 million.
Yes, that's where, but because ticket sales don't care where you got them at. Ticket sales, when that album drops or when that moment hits, ticket sales are up here no matter what. So if you were able to lock an artist down at this amount,
that's the trick.
That is the talent of buying shows. But that's where it takes talent buyer. But that's where it takes the knowing what's hitting, knowing what people like, or really if you're fine tuned with that, knowing what you like is probably going to be good enough to go forward with your promotion of show. Yeah. I would never ever. There's no way I have enough balls to do it, but it sounds fun. If you're winning.
If you're winning, even when you're not, if you have a losing streak that keeps going,
all right.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question? Can I just ask a question? Listen, this would be. Have you ever been somewhere that you've been performing that the people were just not into, and you're like,
oh yeah,
oh shit, like
in
this.
the bedroom many a times.
But how do you? No.
Every
I'm
night.
just kidding. My wife knows.
Listen. Do you? How do you react to this performance? Besides, I'm sorry, Savannah, for this, but I'm just kidding.
I can name one show that does.
Yeah, no. Tell me how did you react? What was your reaction like? They were just like, "Oh, this shit isn't exactly what we're looking for."
After wrestling, I think he might have a career as
baby. I'm sorry,
Dan Rather, number 2. He asks the hard hitting questions.
She doesn't like that I talk so much, but that's what the whiskey does. I don't know.
We played Washington, D.C. one night, and we've typically done fairly well there. This night we were put on as an opening act for Boy Named Banjo. I don't know if anybody here listens to Boy Named Banjo. And we're buddies with those guys. We played with them multiple times. But this particular night, it was just a bad fit. It wasn't the bad. Yeah. Oh yeah. You remember what I'm talking about. I've never wanted to smash my fucking Gibson so hard in my life. So we're playing our set.
They sold it out.
Oh my Gibson. They sold it out. They did great. Yeah. This is nothing on them. Love those guys. This is on the particular audience that was mainly within my eye shot because it was dark and I couldn't see. But anyways, we're playing our set. In the room, I mean, it was just like fucking being talked over. That's the only time I can ever remember this actually being that bad. And, you're used to that as an opening act anyways, but this night was like intense. We're being talked over. We're doing
It was louder than the monitors.
It was louder than my fucking monitor on stage, which was cranked. But I'm like, just like, God, let's just get through this. And we push through. And I remember midway through the set, well, I don't remember what song we're playing, but I look over and there's this lady that she's clearly got a table and a group of friends. And I just remember looking at her and making eye contact, and she was in a conversation with her friends. I can read lips, and she was like, yeah, they're okay. I was already having a bad night, and I was like, I'm going to make DC remember me because I want to stand up and smash this fucking guitar.
No, at least somebody
I did not do that.
It was one of our last shows of the year.
I did not. No.
He didn't.
It was the last show.
He
of the
didn't.
year.
But when we got in the van, we got packed up.
I was polite, kind, nice.
I was going to have you half-assed it.
December 30th, 29th, somewhere in there. It was our last show of the year. And Jake, when we got in the van, he said, I wanted to get up, grab my guitar before I smash it. I wanted to get in the mic and say, thank y'all, DC, for being the absolute worst fucking audience we've ever played for in my life, and smash my Gibson right there.
But I did not do any of that.
Yeah, I was at the merch table.
I feel for you cats, man.
Oh yeah. I was at the merch table.
It was tough.
Jake, you kept looking at me. You were like clenching your lips, and I was like,
because this is the all right. So everybody has ego, and I'll be the first to admit, like, when I'm passionate about something, yes, I have an ego. You've got to have an ego to be successful. You absolutely have to have it in the right direction. That's so that night I'm sitting here thinking, like, if you would just listen to the fucking song, you might like it.
You might like
it. Talked over the whole thing.
And if you should not be passive.
And if you said it kind of humorously like
Yeah.
that, it might have
It might have worked. Yeah. But I didn't say anything. I took it on. You take them on the chin, and you move forward, and you get right. Because we're all human. Exactly.
We know while we're here, and Shaun's gonna jump here beside us. I want him to jump. You're the manager of the band here, and
emphasis on the man.
Yeah, well, and we got Kris here too because you've got a bunch of insight into this, and with you boys all jumping in. I mean, it's a great chance. I want to have the conversation like in this industry. Like, I don't know how much it can be appreciated for the work that somebody like you does. And for me personally, sitting where I'm at right now, me and Simon know what we do on this end. And we go out there and we find people and people we want to promote and people we think are doing great things like you all and like Kris and like Billy and Henry, who we had on here earlier. I'm like, one of the coolest things about Jake and them, when they go out there every single week, they're going to hear every single week with somebody from Callaway representing them. In this industry, you've probably got snakes and vipers coming at you nonstop saying, let me do this for you, let me do that for you. You've seen these people in the industry, Kris, all the time.
We fell for it a couple times.
And for y'all to hold on to Shaun, like for him to continue to, and
you
for
learn
being
how to
Franklin
sniff it
County,
out.
that kind of loyalty,
But it's still hard.
Like,
It is.
mad kudos because I know it. I mean, there's people going after you nonstop to try and get to them, and for y'all to be this close over time, like that's a testament right there. So, I mean, kind of talk about that because I think that's something.
Disclaimer
that needs to be.
first.
I'm not going to say we've been wrong, but I would say we're pretty good at sniffing out the snake oil nowadays.
Now we are. But I'll say this as a testament to Shaun. He quit a really good job making really good money to do this with us too, and we aren't able to pay him even close to what he was making before. And he's never there's been times where we have just been doing our thing or whatever, and he'll call and say, "Hey man, I put some money on a promotion on this site for something," and it's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, really? So that's rare.
Helps.
You're not going to find that
Helps
anywhere
keep y'all
else.
like knowing you're doing something
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And
and
cats like that support.
They push and drive along with the band members, but that's one of the things that keeps this thing moving.
It gets back to that whole trust and loyalty thing we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Like you just can't put a price tag on loyalty and
That's one
trust.
of the things I will have to say in the industry is I'm a very trusting person.
Yeah.
And I've always approached this industry trying to change it, not like in a naive way of like, I'm going to be, really good. And
Right.
but being sincere about your word, being honest. And I'll tell you, man, this is a weird industry.
Oh, it is.
At the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about you.
You're right.
And that includes, how only so far as what are your numbers?
Yeah.
I'll say this.
What can you bring to the table? What are your
do
numbers?
from,
What
like me? You know
right?
what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's been the biggest disappointment, I think, in this whole rat race of music and commerce. And
Everybody wants to be your
living.
friend.
Everyone's going to bullshit you until they can get what they need.
Yeah.
And so
They want to make your merch until it comes to paydays.
So we
But-
fell into a bad record deal
yeah.
one time, and I'm not going to name names, but the guy's got a big name. He does, and I'm not burning it. I'm not saying names. And I'll put it this way.
Distribution deal.
Well, it
Distribution
was
deal.
sold to us as a record label that turned out to be a distribution deal that was no better than fucking CD Baby, except taking a lot more of a percentage. We get into these talks, and this is one maybe big
Where are they
reason.
coming from? Primarily Nashville.
Nashville.
Well, but they have
Is that what you said?
Nashville is this one.
Okay.
Nashville.
But they have a. The scary part is they have a resume. So
Right, you don't know what
they have.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way:
Right?
Hootie and the Blowfish. There's the resume, and we get into this deal, and they'll probably listen to this, but fuck it, we're not working
Whatever,
there
tell
anyways.
it, brother.
But
Hype man.
we get into this deal, and we get deep into it, and we had some management at the time that's, oh man, this is it, this is the one, this deal, this is the way the new deals are going, this is the way the industry's
You're
going.
following the
This is
going
going
to
to be
trends.
it. Yeah. So we get into the deal. We get down to the nitty gritty.
They're using
And-
lots of big buzzwords.
Yeah, and
that should be
the
a clue.
contract and everything. And I'm
Oh,
so I
well,
call
what's
management.
funny is it all clicked for us three.
Us, Shaun included, because Shaun's in.
We
with
knew
us at
we
this
knew
point,
damn well not to do it,
and we still fucked
and
up.
we still fucking did it.
It
so
happens.
so
Yeah.
we're sitting here.
But our gut was right.
We're being sold on this through
It always is.
people we're working with who are trusting, and I'm gonna have my lawyers look over this. I'm gonna have it. Did that ever happen? I fucking doubt it. I was told that happened. So we get into this deal, and we have one of the meetings. So I'm like, okay. So I was just going to bring to the table. I was just going to be as straightforward as I could be. I was like, okay, so what are you all bringing to the deal? And
Monetary.
Moonshine is one of the songs on this fucking deal. So I'm like,
Don't sell
what
it
are
short.
you all? Yeah.
Of
So I'm
course,
like,
they're
what
going
are-
to get a piece of that
of that.
forever.
So I'm like, what all are you bringing into the deal? Now hindsight, I thought all this was taken care of by management and some people that we were supposed to have taken care of this stuff. So I thought it was all worked out. This was just my face-to-face time with them. So I'm like, okay, so here's where I'm confused. Like, I've read through some of this stuff, and we're already locked in at this point. So I was like, so what are you, like, here's what I'm missing. Are you putting money in? Are you
Right, nothing's ever clear.
See,
yeah. What
It's all
what is
vague.
what is your risk in this endeavor, right? Because it can't be you have zero risk, we have all the risk. Like, that's not a good deal.
And that's exactly
And
what
that's
it was.
exactly what it was. They basically, oh no. The money stuff, we can do that later. And they had some other notable acts on there. Like they had David Nail, Andrew Duhon.
Beware of the people who are vague and not direct.
Yeah,
Well, and he used
I'll
all
put
the
it-
big buzzwords and
Beware
So-
of those used car sales,
Yeah.
snake oil.
I'll put it this way: we put out 4 singles under that and got out.
I
Thank-
called them from Nashville one
Thank
day.
goodness. We beforehand we
We'd only
kinda-
signed for an EP.
yeah, it was an EP
It was a
and that was
trial
it. It was a
run
trial.
thing. And so one day we're in Nashville, and at this point our manager wasn't even really communicating with the label anymore, and we're like kind of left. So we're really like mind fucked at this point. Like, man, our management got us into this deal, and like they're not even getting on the conference calls. It's just us going over, and then the label is telling us like, hey, we need you guys to make a music video for this song and send it to us. $10,000 or whatever
yeah,
the
we have
cost.
a guy.
They
Yeah.
were
But
putting
we
up all
have
this
we
cost.
have the guy. This is what it's going to cost. We need you guys to do this. And I'm like,
On whose
like you're
dollar?
going to,
Well,
yeah, right.
on
I'm
and,
like,
whose
and I'm
dollar?
sitting here like, well, I can get a guy for $2,000
to do probably an adequate enough.
to do probably just as good or if not better than what your guy's going to do.
So we call him from Nashville one day. At the end, we had put out the 4 songs that we were contractually.
it was actually right after that
It
Pat
was right
Benatar
after-
show.
Yeah, it was right after Pat Benatar show. We get up there and I'm in Nashville and I call him for the conference call, and I'm like, look, so and so, man, this just doesn't seem to really be benefiting. Like, our numbers were better when we took care of publishing, when we took care of distribution, when we took care of,
I would literally
we've seen a decline in numbers.
What was fun, and we were always pushing singles through that period. So I would get in there, do all the algorithms, everything else, submit it to the playlists, do the tastemaker stuff, all that. We were getting, I would say, double the numbers.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Before we signed up, and that's what we were going in with. And then we started declining a little bit in streams after we signed
when
up
we
with
handed
them.
that over.
When I handed it over.
And
I
giving
was
up
like,
a
this
percentage.
isn't
That's
adding
so
up.
much more common than you realize.
Oh,
It's
dude,
like-
we could have shit
all
the
these
bed.
beautiful.
So I'm
artists,
giving up
man.
20%.
Yeah, dude.
I'm giving up 20% of the master, essentially to not do any work. But when I was doing the work, we were getting more in return.
Yeah.
Like it was just backwards.
So basically, we just called and we just pretty much. I just said, look, we can't do this anymore. Like no disrespect, no harm. I appreciate you for your career and what you've done, but it's just not working for us.
Did they
And we
at
were
least cancel
we were
it
out.
quickly, amicably.
Oh, yeah.
They were cool. They
We did
they
our
still
force
get
on
their
it.
But you had to
percentage.
go
And
through
we
that
actually-
weird drama, that weird.
No.
And then
why
you're
can't we
feeling
just be
like
straight here. Come on, let's get it done.
then you're feeling like you've given yourself a black eye
Which-
to some people in the industry.
and I've went over the literature. We actually get
It's so tough.
we get that percentage back
in 5 years.
after 5 years. We can change the publishing on all that and stuff. So
But there's
everything's
so
fine.
many of those deals out there to walk into. It's like a sinkhole. Like,
That game has
Well-
changed though radically over the last 15 years.
what's
So now what you're talking about is an LA experience that is you're now seeing in Nashville.
Quick turnovers.
That's all that's
All it is.
because there's no risk in
what's so scary though?
there's no risk. If
And then to make extra money, they'll con the musicians.
You want to talk about
Right.
On the
very first week after we had
Sad.
got on board, they get us on this onboarding and they're preaching down our throat. They're like, okay, well, we also could use your back catalog to like do some stuff.
they wanted our back.
They wanted our
20
back
some
catalog.
songs that they had
Kiss
nothing
my
to do
fucking
with.
ass.
We had already
Millions of
released,
streams.
and they were like, well, you should just, give us your back catalog and we'll push this through
How are they going to make money?
A, B, C, D, E, F channel. And we're sitting here like, well, we haven't even released a song with y'all yet. We don't even know. And I told him from day one, I was like, dude, we got to see some results before I'm even willing to have that conversation. And I'm so glad we didn't, because that would have been detrimental.
Because that money that comes in monthly from your
I mean, that
streams,
pays-
writing everything,
that
that pays
pays
all
all
of
our
our bills
bills.
business wise.
Every bit of them.
Well, I don't think there's ever been a month since we really got a catalog going into it that we've had to ever come out of pocket for anything. That is a machine which we still want to grow, but that's a machine that takes care of itself. So
You all need a new manager.
yeah,
You know,
well, that's why when and God, I'm not trying to get on here and now if you'd have caught me 2 or 3 years ago and I'd been drunk, maybe I would have got on here and not doing that now. But
everybody was super helpful.
I'm talking to this cat, Chalk Dinosaur, up in where is he from? Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like he mixes jam and a little bit of electronic and like rock, and he's really, I mean, for that genre,
yeah,
fucking amazing.
Right.
And I reached out to him. I was like, well, how's it going? You know, I mean, and he has like, I think 1.2 million streams.
Yeah.
And he still says, you know, he does have management. He does have, you know, an agent, but he said he played to an empty room, like, you know, like a week ago.
So-
5 people.
So
30 people.
Here's
15
where
people. I'm like, dude.
TikTok has almost, in a way that it's helped. We were talking about this earlier, and I was going to mention this point, and you were asking me some questions on this. All right.
Offline.
People, offline. Now we're online.
Allegedly.
Remember that, Jake. Allegedly, we're online. So,
Oh, I got nervous.
back in the day, it used to be you had college markets. All right, so your Dave Matthews bands, your Hootie and the Blowfish, Edwin McCain, all these 90s, early 2000s, you played college markets, and that's where you got a core fan base. Corey Smith, prime example of that. All right, nowadays, we play college markets. We play ECU, we play Richmond, we play Athens, Georgia. We play these markets. We play Tuscaloosa, God Almighty, Alice Harrison. We play them all. So they're the worst fucking shows. And I think the reason why is because that age group does not discover music in person anymore. They use, why would they? It's on your phone in a 30-second clip on TikTok. They discover music that way. They're not coming to your show no matter...
Until they see you on TikTok
Until they see you on TikTok first. We've had that happen in Georgia, in these places where we'll have a crowd and these people are like, man, we saw this stupid video of this dog y'all posted on TikTok and we had to come out tonight. We've been waiting for y'all to come to Georgia. But then we've played Athens, Georgia, sold shit worth of tickets. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. You know, you have access to the marketing that's free, essentially, but at the same time, people don't go out to discover their music as much anymore, and I hate that side of it. The empty room saying you're going to play a hell of a lot more.
How do you hit the market
That's
that
the
doesn't
generic side of the music.
But I think that pendulum is swinging, though. I think that pendulum is swinging. I think people for so long have been attached to their devices so much. They want to feel something. They want to feel anything. And if you can go out there as a musician, as a group, as a band, and capture an audience some places, like that's what people are yearning for right now. You know what I mean? It's such a crazy market.
As an outsider looking in, every time I go to a Crawford and Bauer concert, I promise you this, like, not just the fact that I know these boys, but like the interaction with the fans, the things y'all do in between, the things y'all do, like,
well, he's a show, you know, like
you're a showman. Yeah, no, it's
y'all
not
have a perfect rhythm going.
Yeah,
don't y'all? And like I said, you know, kind of wrap things back around. When I was talking about Shaun, like, you know, I've got both of y'all's numbers. I'll, you know, support the hell out of y'all. We talk about y'all on the show all the time. We try and tell people where y'all going to be at. And I'll text y'all back and forth, try and get on the show. And both of y'all will separately say, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Nothing ever happens. I start getting a hold of Shaun. All of a sudden,
we're here.
Things roll. You know,
hey,
like
he holds us accountable.
Can't be, you know, maybe even quantified around here.
That man, Shaun
Greer,
Greer,
he does that. None of us can possibly appreciate. But more importantly, the fact that y'all put your support locally, you put your support in somebody that you trust. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, day one, that dude might come in there and promise you the world. And that first go round, he might give you the world. And you might get that $2.5 million or whatever. And after that, it goes to complete shit.
Yeah.
Because he ain't got no loyalty at all. But somebody like Shaun, you might make, you know, it might be 6 figures here, 6 figures here. And then all of a sudden, 7, 8, 9 years down the road, you're looking at that 7, 8 figures, and you're looking at it consistently instead of a flare and a fade away because you've got loyalty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's all that's sitting around this table right now. Well, a bunch of loyal people.
Shaun's the perfect person for us because he can hold us accountable. Yeah, he can hold us accountable in a way that a professional relationship can't. If that makes sense. Like, Shaun can rattle my cage quicker than anybody else. Like, he knows the buttons he could push to really fire me up and make me do some shit, which is great. That is a good thing. But he always does it in a way, too, that's like, TikTok, man, fucking hate it. Absolutely hate it. It sucks. I don't like sitting around making videos, cover videos. It's, like, dreadful as hell. It's like, dude, we've done that. We've made it to here, but Shaun is also the smart enough guy that's like, dude, do you remember the people in Georgia that literally bought tickets to come to the show because they saw a stupid ass TikTok?
I saw 7 of them on TikTok. Look, here's 1 through 7.
Right.
Like, y'all need to go on here and make a response to them.
Yeah. It's Shaun's on top of all that. every bit of it. He's more in tune, I think. And I think that like we were talking about management and things like that. If you're the artist yourself, and when I say artist, you know, I don't mean it like I paint naked in my house. I mean it like a true artist. Like, I love.
That's what you need to be. As a professional wrestler, I'm an artist. Yeah. Like,
there's drywall guys out there that are artists. Yeah. I mean, really. But my point is behind that. It's like in this field as an artist, I think if you can get hyper focused on what, like, we know what we need to do. We need to write good songs and we need to put out good music. Like, that's clear. That's an obvious, easy thing to do per se, you would think. But then when it comes into the TikToks and your marketing and you can't possibly do all that at once. And if you can, you're
insane,
unicorn, and you don't sleep.
Yes.
You know, you're on cocaine.
That's what I did with FloydFest.
But
not cocaine, but I would work 16, 17, 18 hours a day.
It's fucking insane.
I ran marathons. I was a fucking machine. And I turned off my heart for a certain 10-year period. I didn't cry for 10 years.
Right.
building that business
because that's all your
because
focus.
of what it fucking took.
Yeah.
That is
you can't let
that's
your emotions
Emotions aside,
ever imbalance you. You have
your life.
incredible equanimous approach to the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man.
Say
costs.
Every
like you're-
single decision has a cost.
Yeah.
Even the ones you're making that don't have direct results.
Oh yeah,
There's a cost to that. It's the time,
that's life. Yeah,
the equity that you put into it.
a low piece of what he's talking about. I'm getting engaged.
Period.
Ric Reeves is getting engaged, not just Mason Maples. Ric Reeves is getting engaged. I'm just saying, like, people know. Like, you put that kind of shit out there, guess what? I mean, like, fans are there and they're on your shit in a second. Right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, you
Why
can
you
put
gotta
out
be on
one
your
There's only
song.
one word.
If it's shit or if it's good, guess what? They're on
That
it in a
is
second.
Callaway.
Right.
Callaway.
The best. Callaway's finest, baby.
So can I ask a question for
You
Chris?
ask a question.
3 acts right now that you couldn't live without. Your top 3. I know that's the hardest game ever, but you got to pick 3.
Right now.
And I mean from currently and but
Currently,
from
right now, I would say that it is Chris Stapleton's in it.
Yeah.
You know, he's in it. I can't live without him right now.
Yeah.
From the soul.
Yeah. That chalk dinosaur, unheard of
I've got to look. I've
cat
got to
in
look at it.
Pittsburgh, man, who's a producer and he's phenomenal. I can't live without him.
Yeah.
And the third, Cody Jenks.
Cody Jenks.
Those are mine that I have to go to that help me day to day, that I respect, that I relate to, and that I love. And they're all at different spectrums of their career. Maybe
Completely,
Cody
yeah.
and Chris are kind of in
Similar.
the same zone, but Chalk is so unheard of and so phenomenally good. You know?
Right.
And yeah,
Why
man.
don't y'all answer the same question?
Yeah.
Move that around the room.
Yeah.
Move that around the room.
If you're going to curate a festival, 3 headliners, who would you book for next year? I can see the
Dream list, right?
dream list. Yeah.
Funny you say that.
Money's
This man is standing
I
now
have
for
all
this.
kinds of ideas depending on the genre of the music. I know what would sell out immediately.
We can keep it relative to like the FloydFest scale.
The FloydFest scale. What would I don't want to give away my secrets.
True. Yeah. That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go FloydFest.
No
No wish list wide open.
All I have to say
Yep.
is that you have to keep it hyper focused.
Yep.
Period. And then you do the math. Look how many wonderful artists there are. I mean, count the 3 leading genres of music right now. It's hip hop, it's EDM, and it's country music.
Yeah.
There's
But who would you have there? Name them.
I'm not going to say.
He's not doing.
Come
All
on.
right, Ethan.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pass the question. Your 3 artists you can't live without. I hate this game. I really hate it.
Passing the TK out there. It's got to go around the table.
Yeah, you're right, Dragon.
Well, actually, I have an answer. First would be Greta Van Fleet.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking love them.
Fuck yeah.
I think second would probably. Fuck, this is really hard. All I had was Greta Van Fleet.
I went through my top 3 on Spotify, so it was easy.
That's all I
was
got.
like, yeah, those are the 3 I listened
I
to.
have my
the most.
3 here.
I've been listening to a lot of Eminem, so maybe.
Yeah. I would agree with Chris Stapleton for sure. He's been in my top 5 for like 4 years straight
My
now.
daughter now has a job as his
Yep.
manager's personal assistant.
Oh shit.
No shit.
then-
Yes.
That's sweet.
I would have to say 49 Winchester,
Fuck yeah.
and then probably the Black Crows. I mean,
Fuck
Oh,
yes.
see,
Yeah.
that's you're stealing one of mine.
I know.
Dude, I had them as a headliner in 2023. That lineup I put together my last year,
Hey,
I was so proud
shit
of
the
it.
bed over
I was
this.
so proud of it. We sold out like less than, the history of FloydFest. And, I had a plan.
Yeah.
I had this
Yeah.
plan and it was executing and working. Oh, and then of course, the
Oh, when I saw that, I couldn't. I was.
yeah,
We caught
believe it.
Black Crows at Red Rocks.
right.
It was unbelievable.
What a place to see a show. I've
Unbelievable.
seen
I
Holy
bet.
shit.
I bet.
there
I bet.
6 times. It's what a place.
Yeah.
TK.
Yeah, it's-
I say, if y'all ever play frickin' Red Rocks, I promise you, we will buy plane tickets. I will fly out there
We
to
will.
that
Just
frickin'
be able
You will.
Well, yeah, we will do a podcast on the stage, tell the headline. Yeah, absolutely. I love that place. Took my wife out there before we got engaged. We didn't get to see a show.
That's
We went and saw
Strawberry
Fish
Shine
at
is-
Dick's or whatever, but I've seen Panic there. 2 separate trips.
Is it?
If you've never made the trip, if you're listening to this show, if you've never made the trip, find a band you like, find somebody you enjoy. If you can't find when they're playing at Red Rocks and Go. It is an experience you can't possibly like recreate without, you know.
Yeah.
Y'all been there, obviously.
Oh,
Have you played there yet?
no, we've not played
Okay.
there.
When you do, and let's
Oh,
make
you'll
this
be the
happen
first to
somehow.
know. You'll be the first to know.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make something
So-
like that.
So who's your 3, Ethan? If you have 3 from here,
Go with the
now,
heart.
From You Were a Baby,
King George.
King George. Hey,
I'm going.
fuck it up there.
It's pretty easy. I'm going Brian Adams, John Mayer.
Oh,
I can get down.
those are good ones.
Brooks and Dunn.
Oh, okay. Holy hell, there we go.
I like
Nice.
that.
Okay, nice.
Have y'all played with Brooks and Dunn yet?
We've not. We've
Are they
not.
still touring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
did
make
a
that
big
happen
reboot
then.
tour.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
I'd go see that.
I love the John Mayer vibe. Just
Oh, I love
Ric
John
Reeves,
Mayer.
big John Mayer
TK.
guy.
Amazing.
Your top 3 is Wolfpack in there?
Yeah, I was about to say, we were talking about him earlier. Wolfpack is I'm a huge fan. Recently I let these guys listen to it in the van. This Stephen Wilson Jr.
Yeah. Oh, that was fucking great.
Just recently heard him. I think it just popped up on Spotify or something, but his album Son of Dad is got a lot of really awesome songs on it. And I've still been I kind of went back to the Wood Brothers. I really like the
Oh,
Wood
love
Brothers
the Wood
recently.
Brothers.
They got a lot of really cool like blues type stuff.
Great
It's-
songwriting.
Yeah,
Hey,
really good.
Phenomenal
Yeah.
songwriting.
And just like the arrangements too, like are all over the board, and it's like it keeps it interesting. Where it's like, you know, the drummer is on a kit for some stuff, or it's like that weird,
Percussive stuff.
yeah, and it's like the stand up bass is like always recorded really well, sounds awesome, and like really thickens everything up. I don't know, it's really cool.
Hey, this is a question for TK. As a fan, are you someone who likes to play like, so when I saw you around, you were playing with a box, damn near like a goddamn bongo. Do you like playing with that, or do you like playing with the full set? The Jimbo. I'm so sorry. I don't know the exact
Jimbo
word.
Fisher.
Hey, look. I was hoping for someone to correct me, but I want to know your opinion because you are a kick-ass drummer on that as well, brother. So I want to know, do you like throwing it back to just one thing or the full set? Like, what do you like to...
I mean, I started on drum kit, and I've always loved drum kit. You
Right.
can do a lot with it, play a lot of different kinds of music. I started playing djembe.
That's just sweet, man. That's
Just
coming-
because it's easier to carry around, lug around, play
For
wherever.
sure.
It's
And it was
one whole drum kit, right?
yeah. And when I was playing drums, I had this habit where I kept getting as complicated as I could with stuff. I started playing progressive metal music and just as like crazy and complicated fast as possible. And then I started listening to like more jam music and stuff, and where they could hang around with one chord forever, and the drummer's just kind of keeping this groove in this one spot. And I kind of was seeing the value in that. And when I started picking up djembe, it was really cool to try to condense everything that I like to do rhythmically into like, less stuff. So you only have the one.
I could say as a fan, you've crushed it, brother. Like, I've seen you go from that to a full fucking drums, and dude, like, you're just talented on everything, dude. Like, I would get blown away on just a fucking box. I get blown away on the drum set, brother. You like, the adjustment is incredible, and it's like seeing you from over time.
You know when he's talking.
Dude, I just want to know, like, I mean, maybe you like to throw it back, but fuck it.
Yeah, I still enjoy playing whatever.
For sure,
whatever the
dude.
song needs.
No, you kill it. Going from that to that and just keeping the
Yusef Days.
you kill it.
I don't
man.
think so.
Listen to him.
Yusef
As a
Days.
drummer.
Okay.
God, he just started.
I'll say for me, when y'all going
He's
around talking
shit.
about 3 artists or whatever that
He's dude, long hair, kind
That-
of
that-
man. I think he might
it's
be
such a
Cuban or
subjective
something.
thing
yeah, I know who
too,
you're talking
because
about.
Holy shit!
what's going
My
on right
friend,
now
Lily
might be
just,
something different that you would
think
have answered a
Swedish
year
guy.
ago.
Oh, yeah,
like your
100%.
life is an entire soundtrack. So,
Yes,
so
dude.
right now, if I'm
Yeah.
taking around, I'm sitting
I
around
think
my
he's
house,
Swedish or
I'm
something.
hollering at that dumbass Alexa, that CIA freaking thing that Simon's put in my house to listen to what we're talking about. Where I'm at in my life, I'm comfortable. I love my wife. I got 2 beautiful kids. And what am I trying to do? I'm trying to let my kids listen to some music that I really like and appreciate, and music that I can tell stories about. I can explain to my 4-year-old, hey, baby, this is these people. This is Callie's favorite song. It's High by Crawford and Power. Now she's walking around the house singing High, and my wife's trying to keep her from doing that to my mom going to church and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for me right now, my top 3 I couldn't go without is Levi Lowry. I don't know if any of y'all know
I know
who he
Levi
is.
Lowry.
Check him the hell out. He was, number one, he was, I think, our 20th episode, but he was a dude that came on our show, way in the beginning when I started this. I was like, if I can get this guy on the show, I can get anybody. This is in a selfish way, it's a resume builder, but that's not what I was looking. I was, confidence builder, whatever it was. Like, dude wrote, Colder Weather, which was the number 1 tune. And I'm gonna be honest with you, he is one of the most talented artists I've ever come across. Not even being a homer, we've got a ton of musicians on here. I like them all and I respect them. I love everything that dude puts. Go listen to him. Like, one of the best fiddle players I've ever come across. And like, his music, like y'all's, is genuine. It's written from the heart, and he puts it out in a way, so I want my kids to listen to that. I want that story. 49 Winchester is another one, because that's a cold country band. My wife is from cold country, and I want my kids to be able to understand those roots, those cold country roots. And the third one, I'm constantly going around screaming, Alexa, is Y'all Boys, because I can tell my daughter, I'm like, hey man, you went out and saw these boys a couple of times. We've had them on the show. They sing great songs. They're from here. This is your dad's side of the family, where 49 Winchester is your mom's side. So, for that, I appreciate y'all boys for that, because I have that to pass on to my daughter. I have it to pass on to my son. They'll have stories of, well, hey, daddy had them on the show, and they're from Travis Tritt, who was a big guy when I was growing up. Here's a Quarter. I had that album. I played that freaking cassette until the damn thing went wrong, and y'all boys get to open for him, and all the other guys. So, yeah, at this point in time in my life, I play the shit out of y'all for my kids, and for that, I love y'all and I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate the hell out of that, man.
So thank you. What about you, Simon? Who's the 3 you couldn't live without right now?
3 that are... Damn, that is such.
They'll probably all be British freaking bands. Zeppelin,
it's a tough.
I love British
Clapton,
music.
Fish and Chips. It's college
Tea and
football,
coffee.
you wanker.
Watch the George Michael.
Simon's favorite.
No George Michael.
Hey,
It's really good. I've been studying.
y'all are not going to
every
believe one of my top
documentary
3.
I can. Well,
I would
Very
probably
similar.
put a little bit of clout behind the Traveling Wilburys, because that's such a collaboration of
Tom Petty's Wild.
just genius.
Ric Reeves.
I would. I have a soft spot for ELO.
Yellow? I like Yellow.
Dude,
You
that was
know.
like the first album I ever bought
It just
back in like 70.
can't help it.
No shame.
Can't help it. And the third one, that would be a toughie. It's going to be a Beatles album from somewhere.
I could have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
it
really,
would-
This is
a
a guy, I don't know if any of y'all know this, but this is a guy who spent a few weeks on a yacht with Paul McCartney.
Oh,
3.
3?
Yeah.
He spent a night in
What
a pub.
was-
He spent a night in a pub
All
drinking
right,
with
all
Bill
right.
Cosby.
3 weeks.
I got very
took
shit
off on the
faced
plane with Jimmy Buffett.
with Phil Collins.
What's the best memory? What is the number 1 memory of that trip? Or give me your best memory of your 3 weeks of fucking living life.
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney.
That'll be the Paul McCartney story. And
no, that's what I'm saying. The best part of that.
Give the best story.
You give 2 seconds. You give 15. Whatever you want.
Okay, here it comes. He was on the Rockstar Island, right? Parrot Key, Turks and Caicos Island.
I was about to say that's the episode.
Are we talking about? We're talking about Epstein Island.
3 weeks.
Simon has been to Epstein Island, is what I'm hearing.
It
Confirmed.
was not the Epstein.
We've
fucking
heard CIA the whole time. Low key has been on Epstein Island. All right, Simon, come on.
I know
So
that-
Epstein
I'm gonna
Island.
Change my story slightly.
Epstein Island. Let's go ahead, Simon.
Because no one's ever heard it. And I was going to talk about one story, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give you another one.
I love you for this.
And you
I love you
haven't
for
heard
this.
this before.
It's because you love me.
She loves you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh,
Anyway,
looks could kill.
Bruce Willis was on the island, Brucey baby, and he had his entourage and the Gypsy Kings.
That's badass.
The band.
Right,
That's
the
badass.
band, the Gypsy Kings.
I was about to say, I'm hoping we're doing Die Hard, honestly.
Right.
It's my
So he
favorite.
was on the island at the same time as Sir Paul McCartney, and I think it was James and Stella. So anyway, both of those people were there at the same time, and Bruce swung around and said, he was buying a piece of big piece of land there. He said, well, I want to have a big bonfire there with all my entourage and, put on the show. I thought,
Make
well,
that shit the biggest bonfire you ever seen.
make it a big fucking bonfire.
Yeah. Bruce Willis, I'm putting on the biggest fucking bonfire y'all ever seen.
Here comes the bonfire. So, and the only way you can travel around there is these fucking golf carts. So anyway, we end up grabbing his entourage, going down to his undeveloped property, but with a big fucking fire there.
We started the fire.
We did. Someone wrote a song about that. And so we started ferrying people down from the central location. Anyway, so Bruce is down there, and he's going, yeah, fire's great, fire's fucking great, right? Bring all the guests down, and we started bringing some of his entourage down who had met Paul McCartney at the main bar. It was fucking hysterical. So anyway, Bruce Willis goes, "Oh, I'm glad you're here. And everyone looks at him. We want to go back and see Paul McCartney.
Damn it.
His whole entourage. It was just like, how belittling was that? And it was fucking poetic. It's Paul McCartney.
It's not Paul McCartney.
And it was great.
Damn it.
Anyway, I've got lots of Paul McCartney stories, but I am way too shit-faced.
Hey, no,
It
that's
happens.
awesome. I don't know never met Paul McCartney.
For what? Story? Oh, the three artists. So mine are going to go back from like they're 15 years plus up until now currently. So I'm going to give one for the last 15 years. That would be Elton John. That would probably be number one, honestly.
Any song in particular?
God bless.
I mean,
Mona
there are
Lisa's and Mad
mountains.
Hatters, or Someone Saved My Life Tonight. That's a good one too. I mean, I love all the big
Beautiful.
ones too, but
Beautiful.
I mean, I'm telling you, when I was obsessed with that guy for like 10 years, I'm telling you, I bought a piano and everything and learned how to play his songs. That's how deep that went.
Oh, man.
The next one would be Blackberry Smoke. That's a current one. Every album they've put out, I've followed them for so long, has gotten better and better and better.
Holy
and
shit.
better.
Better and better and better.
And now and it's almost like gotten into more. We went to see Charlie and Benji do a duo thing in Charlotte last year. One fucking awesome. It's a small neighborhood theater. And then third, as much as this pains me to say, but I'm not too big to say it, or I'm not,
Taylor Swift, here it comes.
No. And I'm gonna say the only reason this pains me to say, you already know it. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And the only reason I say that pains me to say is because I've had a love affair with him since before Different Days, before his life changed and his career changed. And this is my take on it. I love him. He was my most streamed artist this year again. He's just pretentious as hell, and just he can't get off the Twitter game, and it turns me off so bad. It's
I said,
like,
surely I know you know what's up.
God bless. But that's why I'm saying it kills me.
I can't stand that.
I fucking hate it. But I will say this, as far as somebody that moves me and gives me that inspiration that we were talking about earlier,
Hell of a song, right?
I can't fucking deny it. He's been one of those from.
He's the definition of.
But I've been on board from way back.
He's the one example of we can't separate the art
We tour with Travis Tritt. He fucking jabs at Travis
can't?
Tritt every other week. No, we can.
You can.
Dude, Travis Tritt's pretty freaking based.
He lost me.
Travis Tritt
He
is
lost me, man.
By the way, Shaun,
You know,
get Travis Tritt on the show if you can, dude.
Do you know what
Get
changed our
him up
mind
here. I
on
bet he'd
this?
have a ball. You know what I mean?
I literally,
I wouldn't
He'd have a
have
ball,
thought,
right?
I'm telling you,
Listen,
I was his
next
top.
time they
when
come
I
in,
got hit
I
by a
was his-
car, I sang "It's a Great Day to Be Alive" when I woke up.
Absolutely.
I'm just making
Not
it up.
kidding.
Here's
That's a
the
true
plug
story.
anyways. Listen to him. Went to see him multiple. We went to the Ryman to see him. We've seen when we were in Nashville working on some stuff. Legit. Loved him. And then, and this is not even a political thing so much so as like just a human thing. And I don't care if you're left, right, or where you're at on the spectrum when it comes to that shit. But holy fuck. You cannot possibly think that you're right about everything and impose your stuff. Like I get it. I get a little bit of comical. Dave Matthews is good at it. Like he does it in a witty way if he wants to get an agenda across or something. John Mayer, same thing. When you are so arrogant
that's why he lost me.
He lost us for probably 3 years, and I told
arrogance,
Ethan,
pretense.
Yeah, we had a conversation, and I was like,
I took him to a show. And I didn't.
I said I'd never go see him again. I said I will never pay money to go see this asshole again.
I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's Jay.
And it blew your mind.
My girlfriend,
Staggering.
one of her really good friends is his floor manager, and they gave us some tickets to go see him. We sat front row, second man.
It won me back over. It blew
Professionally
me the fuck away.
executed
You know,
everything.
there was no bullshit in between. There was no tactic. It was a fucking rock show. His latest stuff is
All right.
rock. It's Southern rock.
All right, guys. All right.
Like, oh yeah.
That's why we
There's that
can't fucking
asshole
stand
again,
it.
dude, with those perfect teeth and
No, the new one.
Hey, all right. As a fan, now that we're going into like John Mayer and stuff, all right. I this year went to a Nickelback concert, and I think it was one of the most. It was a badass concert that I've ever fucking seen in my life, dude. Like, look, we were in I'm usually in the pit and like rocking my face off, getting fucked up. Y'all know who I am. And like, so this time I'm a little reserved. We're in the lawn seats with the family. This is me, Ric Reeves, Miss Reeves, all the Reeves. And we're watching Chad dude, this dude, you could tell he can run a concert. Like Nickelback, dude. Raven, was it not this dude? You could tell he's been leading fucking shit for his whole life. Like, brother, like 25,000 people just receiving every word. Whatever he does, whatever he wanted to lead you to, like, you're feeling it. And it was incredible. Like, I've never felt that control of that many people at one time. And it was like, God damn. Like, this is Chad from Nickelback. And I might have made fun of him for 20 years, but that dude's leading me through every bit of this fucking concert right now.
Simon jumps on the outside of him.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start putting it into the show. There's two more things I want to talk about real quick before we get out of here. Is Amos out there? Could you holler at him and just tell him to come in real quick? Because this request right here, if it gets denied, then we'll just move right on to the final one before we get out of here. But maybe Amos can help jog my memory. Is it coming in here?
This didn't come from Garland, did it?
No, it definitely. And by the way, speaking of Garland, what a night! Before we get out of here, I want to talk about what a crazy night this ended up being. Before we leave, I need you in here as a witness, because 2 years ago, roughly, maybe a little less, we had these boys in the woodshop. It wasn't quite this kind of affair. It was just us, fellow musician Josh Grice, and whoever else ended up showing up here.
We still got 4 hours to go if it's going to be like last time.
We're not doing that like last time. I got two more things I want to talk about. Then I'm taking the computer home so I can release this show tomorrow. I'm leaving the rest of the shit here. I'm going to come home and get it tomorrow evening or something. Because I got to get home or else I'm going to get murdered. By my wife. You have to deal with it. So two more things before we get out of here. When Kris gets back, he can kind of fill us in on the second one, because I want it to be a conversation for everybody. But for anybody else here tonight, and you will not hurt my feelings if you say, no, I can't tell this story on air for whatever reasons anymore. But the last time we were here, and everybody else left, we hung around here for a couple hours. And Jake, you
talking about Kentucky?
The F1 guy.
Oh,
F1 race car driver.
I mean,
I know you got. I know. Look, I know you.
I don't know what happened, boys, but I want to know what happened. So come on.
Well, look.
Give us a cliff
When
note.
we walked out that night, he said, "Man, we got so many other stories."
A cliff note.
He said, "We'll talk about that one." And tonight, the way it worked out, we didn't get around to being that kind of a show. So before we leave out of here, what a freaking way to end it if he's willing to.
Hell yeah. No.
A cliff note. A cliff note is what Shaun Greer said.
Dude, that was a great freaking off air. I was like, man, I wish we could have talked. I mean, Shaun.
I can give you some cliff notes.
I like
start from the beginning. Simon, get on. We about to.
What do you think? What do you think?
Simon's
his
making
way.
way.
Simon, you didn't hear this story.
Oh, he's not in it? All right, Jake, what you got?
Simon, you weren't here. Do you know me? You probably should have listened.
So, I'll give you a very minimal cliff note
because we'll all be able to relate one, and I'll jump in. You just okay. Go for it.
Trying to figure out a way to word this
politely.
Good
man.
Met somebody in a different state. Ended up I was completely single. No, had no commitments.
This is years back. This years
ago. And met somebody completely different state. We're playing their state, and we decided we were going to get together after the show. Blah blah blah. Long story, yeah. And we do, and then this is not cliff notes. I'm trying to cliff note this. She was entangled with somebody else. Shows up to the place we were at. Shit gets wild at a hotel at 4 a.m. Ethan was in the hotel with me. Long story short, I missed checkout the next day. We move forward. A while later, come to find out there's some other folks involved that had other high power careers that knew this same person. And ended up involved in the same scenario. And it was one of those things that had not left me alone for a long time. Is that a good Cliff Note version of that story?
Good
Not really. Notes. That was nowhere near as interesting as the rest of the story.
Hey, just for a little closing out note, we could do one story on us back in the day before we ever met any fucking producers or anything. You know, me and we used to like BB guns. And one time, I'm just gonna put this out there for the audience. One time we thought we could have, the best aim of any BB gunners of this, this timeline right here, right? I thought I was fucking the sniper. So we're sitting there.
We're shooting cars going down the road.
We're shooting cars going down the road, and we're trying to hit any buddy that passed. I feel sorry for you. But, I got my big gun. It's about this time. I don't know if it's me, Jake, or our buddy Lucas.
One of the three.
One of the three happened to hit the next door neighbor's house about perfectly with our BB gun shot. We were aiming at cars going by. Yeah, we were bad children, but
shattered a 15-foot picture window.
We got disciplined. We shattered what was it?
It was like a 15 by 15 picture window. It was massive.
Shit happens.
Shit happens.
The neighbor comes over, and I remember it's the three of us, and me and Jake we're like, oh shit, we got caught. And we don't know what to do. And now all I know is at this point is we're like just kind of passing it around. I don't know what happened. I think I
caught the brunt of this deal.
Jake.
Yeah.
And his mother lit us up, but it was one of. Listen, I've never been lit up so much, but at the same time, we ended up. They put us on the better end of it. Set us on the right track. Damn, we've been putting on some things for the later years. So sorry that I brought this up. Jake.
Hey, We've shot a window or two in our day.
One or two of them.
Crawford is.
Oh yeah, she had us there. She knew what we were getting into.
To this day, I hear this from Mama Crawford, and I take it as because that was probably more Ric Reeves than anybody else. So
Exercise.
I had to put it out there.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and probably close it out here at this point in time. This has turned into quite a
Event.
Yes.
But look, full stop. When this kind of come to fruition, big thanks to Shaun for kind of, we wanted to get you all boys on for the longest time. We love just sitting down with y'all. And like what we kind of try and preach is we're not really a podcast because that's sitting in the studio and asking dumb questions and being boring. Like we're an event, like you come hang out with us. It's a good time. And I feel like
luck.
if I'd have started hitting Shaun up about a year ago, we probably would have made this like a biannual thing and kept in touch with y'all and got all kinds of crazy stories. I want to do it again here soon. We can actually just sit down with you all and TK and tell some like road stories and stuff. You know what I mean? Like that. Like
Got plenty.
But tonight I feel like we had a golden opportunity to put y'all in touch with some people, putting Henry in touch with y'all in touch with Chris,
like-minded cats.
Like-minded cat.
And just
people
fellas
with
hanging
good
around
ideas.
drinking, talking shit, man. It's important.
Nothing
And-
better.
And I wouldn't be forced to say that this probably is one of the coolest hangouts that's probably happened in Franklin County, maybe in its history, with people who are established and with people who are on their way to reaching magnificent goals. Like, it can't be emphasized enough. Billy Hurt was on this first show. Billy Hurt is a world-class filler. Dude could be a millionaire right now if he wanted to be, but he's just peculiar. He's on, you know what I mean? Like, you boys have opened for some magnificent freaking music, on top of all the stuff you all do on your own. Colby's doing his thing. Chris, you've had massive, like, all this right here is situated in Franklin County. We're all within an earshot distance of each other. There ain't no reason we ought to not keep coming together and promoting each other nonstop and getting out there and telling everybody, what we got going here. And, I wanted to ask you before we get, here's my last question and we're done, but, we can have some festivals here in Franklin County. Like this is a prime time place. Like you said, if we focus in and we're driven focused, like with people like Jake and Ethan and TK and y'all boys, with Kobe around here, with Billy, with a couple other guys that got some massive pull that have ties to this area. Appalachian Road Show, they're not from here. They all cut their teeth as Mountain Heart right here in Dubuque at the end of Bethlehem Road in Boone's Mill. Massive bluegrass, but you know what I mean? Ronnie Bowman, freaking
my homie Brock Rochelle owns that place.
So many
He's an
people,
incredible music.
so many people. We got so many stories to tell here. We can make this happen, right? If we can have let's get a festival going here in the next couple of years. Let's make it happen. Let's have these boys headline it. Let's kick some freaking ass.
You hear that?
I hear it.
Soon, in the next few years, I tell you what, within the next 5 years, we're going to have something here in Franklin County that's going to be so kick-ass, everybody and their cousin and their mother are going to want to come lining up to do it. Next to 3 to 5 years.
Entire proposal that I have being looked at by Live Nation, all the heavies.
I think, however way you shake it, gentlemen, I think we had a good time tonight. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. I know it's probably isn't exactly how we thought it would turn out, but I had an absolute blast. Our first show, go back. Henry, Colby, Billy Hurt, thank y'all for coming on there. Go check all them guys out. Of course, Crawford and Power, all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those kind of X, you can find them on there. Chris, whatever you got going on in the future, hey, I say we all collaborate again here in 6 or so months just to hang out and do a night like this again. We put our minds together and keep each other updated. I mean, why the hell not? Like somebody in the Appalachian region has to keep putting their minds together to make sure we got stuff going on around here that benefits everybody spiritually, financially, and all that kind of stuff.
Sexually.
Always, man. I mean, come on.
We're all thinking it.
All the time.
No.
So we're going to keep doing this. Hopefully next time we can throw Tyler on board. There's other people around here we can jump in. But I had such a good time tonight. Thank all of y'all. I think history will look back on tonight and be like, God dang, look at that group of people.
How did that happen?
Look at that group of people.
How did that happen?
And Simon, that this group of you that you have in the room right now Not gonna stop working.
And has not used any buzzwords.
No buzzwords.
For a few years going on, like we're gonna keep grinding. What you see here now, here now, it's just a start. Like no matter how far you are, come along.
Yeah, we're just documenting it right now. We're documenting the history, you know.
We're all coming. It's happening, people. Listen in. You're gonna find out the best of Breaking the Iron. The Franklin County has to.
Patreon.com/GetOnTap to become a subscriber. It's only 10 cents a freaking day, $3 a month. If you got a little bit extra cash, you can throw it in there. Those nights right there do things like buy liquor for nights like tonight. So your money is being well spent to have these conversations, to listen to these. I mean, like, you're not getting these conversations. Like it's underestimated. A guy who started the major festival, people who are, guys who are opening for big acts, guys who are on the way up, guys who've bootlegged for 100 years and on TV 5
food
days a
that
week.
we had? I want to give it up for the
Rocky
waffle fries that I
Mountain
had,
Burger
man. That shit
Company.
was good.
Food,
Rocky
thanks for
Mountain
providing
Burger
the food.
Company. Very good.
Rocky Mountain Smokehouse as well. Buddies is a huge guy for us. He's a big supporter. Chip Slate, being libertarian. We're coming to DC in a couple of months. Y'all be on the lookout for that. We're going to be spreading all y'all's accomplishments and make us all a little happier. Shaun.
Make sure you go visit the new place.
Dan Ford.
Burger Company. Ryan Manny does a lot for us. Company does a lot for the Appalachian Podcast. Let's try to shout him out. This man.
We did.
He makes it happen anytime he wants that. So, go ahead, get you a meal. I promise you would never be disappointed. So just go down to Rocky Mountain Burger Company.
Thank y'all so much, Simon. I love you so much. Thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Crawford
You're
and
fucking
Power, December 23rd, 5 Points Music Sanctuary. Get your tickets. Otherwise, go find them anywhere else they're going to be at. You won't be disappointed. Take care. Thank you.
Ever.
Thank you. Peace
Later.
All right.
Good job.
Fucking hell. Oh, yeah. Fucking.
Was born in the dead heat of the summer, raised on a mountainside by a deadhead father and mother. A little hippie and a little southern, just what I needed so bad, but never saw it coming. She liked to get high, a little sweet, a little shy, like a muscadine wine. She liked to get high. Barely 18, both brave and innocent. Grenadine campfire song stained on her lips. She took me for a ride one summer. She said I'd never forget. She blew my mind about 3 or 4 times. I ain't never been the same since. She liked to get high, a little sweet, a little shy. Patchouli scent, a warm embrace and a gypsy scent, a stiff drink and a pinch hit, a memory Lord I haven't seen. She liked to get little sweet, a little shy, like a muscadine wine. She liked to get high.